no time of the year like the fall, and there's no better place to enjoy it than New England with its historic Charles River and the rolling wooded countryside splashed with the yellows and golds and greens now of the fall foliage. Right now we're moving into Game 1 for the championship of the American League at Fenway Park, Boston. The Western Division champs, the Oakland A's, versus the Eastern Division champs, the Boston Red Sox. Brought to you by your Dodge and Chrysler Plymouth dealers, where you can clean up on sales. And by the Gillette Track 2 shaving system, the closest thing to a perfect shave. And also brought to you by Exxon. Fenway Park, Boston. Be jammed here with around 34,000 fans. This intimate, tiny little ballpark drew 1.7 million this year to lead the American League in attendance. Hi, everybody. I'm Curt Gowdy, along with Tony Kubek. And this is really baseball wild, not only Boston, but New England country. As the Red Sox will open with Luis Tiant, their veteran right-hander, the A's will pitch in Game 1 a left-hander, Ken Holtzman. Of course, the A's are used to this kind of pressure in postseason play. Their veteran Reggie Jackson has helped lead them to the title again in the West. They beat Kansas City off by 7 games. The Red Sox had to stand Baltimore off by 4.5 games. The roar you hear in the background cheering the Red Sox players being introduced. Before the game, Tony Kubek taped an interview with veteran Jackson and rookie Freddie Lynn.
Number 8.
Reggie, they talk in a short series, or I guess any time in a baseball game, experience. Do you feel the A's experience is going to be a big factor in this?
Well, Tony, there's no question about it. I know facts are facts. The sky's blue and the sun's shining. I know that when I first went into the playoff series, I was wondering what it would be like and denied this and denied that. But the fact that you get there, you do have to acclimate yourself. And there are teams that are young players that have never been in a playoff series, and teams like the Red Sox and a guy like Freddie Lynn. But then again, a guy like Freddie Lynn is probably the most valuable player and definitely has acclimated and has made the changes to the pressure of a major league season. And I don't see where he's not going to have any problem here adapting to this pressure playoff series the same way.
Okay, Freddie, how much sleep did you get last night?
Tony, I slept pretty well till about 1:30 in the morning when our fire alarm system went off. And it went ringing for about 15 minutes, and after that I started thinking about the game a little bit, and I didn't get too much sleep after that.
The fire alarm, did you send somebody over to wake him up last night?
No, Tony, and as a matter of fact, I went to bed last night after reading my scouting report and sitting around the room at about 10:30, and I woke up this morning about 3, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I finally went back to sleep, but at 5 minutes of 7, I was up and couldn't do anything else but get up.
Freddie, I just want to have Reggie very quickly tell you what their theme song was. I heard it in the locker room a while ago. What is it?
It's called "For the Love of Money" by the OJs.
That's why you win so much. Freddie Lynn and Reggie Jackson, thanks so much. Back up to Curt.
Yeah, that's why they're here to play baseball, and also for the love of money. Those are 2 key figures in this playoff series. There are others. One for the A's, Joe Rudy, is in the lineup today. He's playing first base. They need his right-handed dependable bat. His thumb is not quite right, but he said that he feels he's able to play and maybe spank that left field fence. One great power right-handed hitter will be lacking. Jim Rice, who along with his rookie teammate Fred Lynn, became the first pair of rookies on one team to knock in over 100 runs apiece in the last 36 years of the major leagues. He has a broken hand and is out of action. Here's the man that the A's think is the most valuable player in baseball. Their daily relief pitcher almost, Raleigh Fingers. He may pitch in every game of this playoff series. And Carlton Fisk, after bedeviled by injuries the last 2 years, wound up with a 16-game batting streak to wrap the season up, and he may be the key man here in this ballpark for the Red Sox. We'll be back for the start of this 1975 League Championship game between the Oakland A's and the Boston Red Sox.
Now, I know a lot of you have seen me and a lot of you have heard me talking about rebates this year. Well, I got to tell you, it paid off. We sold a lot of cars, but a lot of you waited. And you're the people I want to talk facts to. First, when you buy now, you buy at 75 prices, and that means you save. What's more, Dodge and Chrysler Plymouth dealers are really cutting 75 prices by hundreds of dollars off sticker. And on top of this year-end deal, we'll send you a rebate check on almost all models for as much as $300. Now, put that all together with the quality Chrysler engineers into every model, and you can see that now's the time you waited for. So if you're a retail customer, see your participating Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealer and clean up.
How do you spell relief?
When I have heartburn, I spell relief R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For acid indigestion, I spell it R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief. In this test with Rolaids active ingredient, laboratory acid changes color to prove Rolaids consumes 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid. How do you spell relief?
For gas, I know. R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief.
Joe Cronin, former manager here, general manager here, and president of the American League, is giving a special award to Rod Carew.
Award on behalf of Lee McPhail, president of the American League, and members of the American League. And with Rod today is Calvin Griffith, the owner, and Mrs. Carew is sitting up in the grandstand. How about a little hand for Mrs. Hand? There's only been one other ball player in the history of the American League that won consecutive batting championships. Ty Cobb and Rod Carew. It's my pleasure indeed to congratulate Rod. From one ball player to another, keep it up.
Rod Carew winning his 4th consecutive American League batting title. He'll be with Jack Buck on grandstand tomorrow.
Thanks very much, Mr. Cronin. And I'd like to thank the American League for this fine award. And I'm very happy to be receiving this in the name of Joe Cronin, because I think this man has done so much for the game of baseball. Thank you.
Can he hit, Tony?
All over. Left, right, center. Hit a few more home runs this year, and he can steal bases, and they're talking now about moving him to first base next year. I don't think he's happy with
How many more titles do you think he can win?
He's still relatively young.
Now a moment of silence, ladies and gentlemen, in honor of the late Casey Stengel.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the players leave the field now, let's give them a big hand.
Red Sox are getting poised. The A's delegation going out to the bullpen. Ken Holtzman is already warmed up out there. Luis Tiant warmed up in the Red Sox bullpen. That's the A's delegation. And Tiant now is making his way in. He is very, very popular here. His mother and father came over here from Cuba, special permit. They'll be behind the plate today. His father was one of the great pitchers in the history of Cuban baseball. He was a left-hander. His son is a right-hander. And as Tiant, El Tiante, they call him here, makes his way in. Listen to the hand. Finished the season well, pitched 2 shutouts his last 3 games. He's had a bad back. You don't know exactly how he's going to be, Tony, the last month of the year until he throws a couple of pitches out there in the mound.
Well, a problem for Tiant today could be control, and also Kenny Holzman. They've had a long layoff. Tiant hasn't been out on the mound for 7 or 8 days. He just pitched on the sideline, but that's not like pitching to hitters.
The Red Sox will have Yastrzemski in left, Fred Lynn in center, White Evans in right is one of the best outfields in baseball defensively. Petroselli's at third, Burleson's at short, Doyle's at second, Cooper's at first, Fisk catching, and Tiant pitching.
Two of the most legendary figures in the history of baseball passed away. Casey Stengel and Larry McPhail. So we ask you now for a moment of silent prayer in the memory of these great baseball figures. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with a special teleguard from the Marine Air Reserve in position, will you please join with Rene Roncourt of the Boston Conservatory of Music, accompanied by John Kiley on the organ, in the singing of a national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home
Casey Stengel, Tony Kubek used to play for him. If every certified publican account could add up the worth and money of goodwill, promotion, and publicity that Casey brought to the game of baseball, I don't believe it could be done, Tony.
No, I sure don't. The man who's going to throw out the first ball lost a father, Mr. Larry McPhail. That is Lee McPhail just threw out the first ball at Carlton Fisk. Mr. McPhail just came from a funeral in Michigan, a little small town that his dad wanted to be buried in.
He brought night baseball, his father, to the major leagues. He was a promoter, a showman, a builder of champions with the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Yankees. And both men passed away in the last week. Luis Tiant, warming up. 18-game winner this year. Lost 14. Earned run average of 4.02. We have 6 umpires assigned to the game. Don Denkinger is behind the plate. Lou DeMoro is at first base. Bill Kunkel at second. Ron Luciano umpiring at third. Working the left field line will be Jim Evans. It's a tough line in this ballpark, and a lot of crazy things happen out in that left field corner. And Hank Morgan Wick will be working the right field line. Here's the A's batting order. In center field, leading off will be Billy North, outstanding speed. Right behind him, outstanding speed again, Claudell Washington. The captain, red hot the last month of the season, Sal Bando's at third. Reggie Jackson, dangerous in this ballpark, playing right field, dangerous anywhere. Gene Tennis, the man that hurts the Red Sox more than the other opposing A's player, is catching and hitting fifth. Joe Rudy at first base, batting sixth. Billy Williams, Sweet Swingin' Billy, is the designated hitter. Bert Campy Campaneris, the shortstop, batting 8th, and rookie Phil Garner playing second base and hitting 9th. Tiant started 4 games in September, winning 3 and losing 1, 2 shutouts. He beat the A's twice this year. He looks like he's put together by nails and screws, all part of his body coming apart at one time.
Curt's got 2 important things going for them. He has pitched well career-wise here in Fenway Park. He has also been a good pitcher, a consistent pitcher against the Oakland A's.
His first pitch to Bill North is high. North this year hit 273. You got to keep the rabbits off the bases, the Red Sox say, and here's one rabbit you want to keep off. There's a fastball for a strike. Petrocelli playing in tight at third, halfway at first to Cecil Cooper. There's a pop foul sailing into the seat. On deck, Claudel Washington.
By now, I think, Curt, all of our fans know that Tiant is liable to throw just about any pitch from any kind of delivery imaginable up to the plate. Curveball, slider, little screwball, turn the fastball over, change speeds, give you a different motion. He's added a knuckleball now, 5 or 6 a game.
Every kind of action you go have. A line drive to Fred Lynn in center field, 1 down. I think Tiant, Tony, is the real key for the Red Sox. If he can't beat the A's in this opening game, the Red Sox are in deep trouble because he has the ability to do it. He's done it before, and the A's fear him. If they can get by Tiant, the A's think they'd be riding high. Here is a fella turned 21 years old on August 31st. Last year, he hit over 400 in the World Series. Look at that setup of figures, 308, but he can run. Low floater. Watch Tiant motion here from the batter's angle. Foul back, and Tiant has his control. He's been ahead of both batters. He's 2 strikes to Washington. Sal Bando's on deck. They're playing Washington a shade to the left. He uses every part of the ballpark. He'll hit him into the left field corner straight away and pull the ball to right. He'll take the extra base, and he'll steal. 2-strike delivery. Got him on the outside corner. 2 down.
That's that sweeping curveball. It's an unusual pitch for a right-hander to come from the side. But he'll come sidearm, and the ball will actually sweep outside a couple of feet and just catch the outside corner. When he's got that kind of control, Curt, he can be tough.
And they'll see his number today because he'll have his back to you all the time as he faces the batter. Sal Bando wound up, hit 384 the last 3 weeks of the year after a miserable start. Fastball for a strike. Bando wound up with a 229 batting average, 15 homers, and his usual 70, 80, 90 RBIs. He had 78 this year. Outside, 1-1.
Curt, if we've got any kids watching this telecast, I'm sure we do, kid pitchers, do not pattern yourself after Luis Tiant. Do not take your eye off the hitter of the strike zone. He can do it.
There's the head jerk and the body turn. I'm telling you, they put those wooden pegs in the wrong places. Everything going one way or the other with him.
You notice the reaction he got from the fans. Usually you get the reaction when a home run is hit, but they watch his head motion and everything else.
2 down, nobody on. Bando plate is a dead pull hitter to left field. Petrocelli crowding the third baseline. On a slider, 2 strikeouts. Tiant looks superb on the top of the first. 3 up and 3 down, and now the A's go to the field.
What a face, you try to face, it's a perfect face, yes it is. Feels so smooth, twin blades smooth, so perfectly smooth, the best there is. You took your perfect face and gave it a perfect track to shape. You shaved it close and safe, now you've got that.
Get the closest thing to a perfect shave. The Gillette Track 2 shaving system in regular or adjustable cartridges.
That perfect track to face.
A symphony for shaving, brought to you by thick, rich Gillette Foamy. Lay it on thick. It's smooth going when you shave. Clean, close, smooth. Gillette Foamy. Get into the thick of it.
Tire buying can be a jungle of confusion unless you refuse to compromise. At Michelin, we believe that tires are no place to compromise. Over 86 years of Michelin experience is dedicated to making the best car tire possible. The Radial, the tire we pioneered 27 years ago. Michelin, the new American tire company, now making tires in America. The best tire we make is the only tire we make.
That's the Red Sox lineup. Bonikas, the designated hitter. Doyle at second. Yastrzemski hitting third and left field. Carlton Fisk cleanup, catching. Fred Lynn in center field, batting fifth. Rico Petrocelli's at third base, hitting sixth. White Evans at right field, batting seventh. Cecil Cooper at first base, hitting eighth. And the shortstop batting ninth, Rick Burleson. Ken Holtzman has the same record as Luis Tiant, 18 wins and 14 losses. Bonikas, the best thing he has is his bat. He wound up hitting .291. He runs very well. Been an erratic outfielder. But the ball jumps off his bat. Ball one to him.
Got a new addition, Curt. I see to the left field wall, a green monster in Fenway Park. We've inserted a camera in that hole behind Claudel Washington, and there's the view you will get. We hope to get some base stealers and base runners for you coming from first to second, and just a new view.
Claudel may have a time out there with that left field wall today. It's tricky. Like trying to play billiards for the first time. That wall's 37.5 feet high, the most famous fence in baseball. The Green Monster, the Green Plague, the Friendly Fence. It has all kinds of nicknames, endearments, obscenities.
A lot of little corners in this park that makes it rough on outfielders.
There's a line smash to left. Washington's over there for it. He nearly didn't quite secure that ball in his glove. You could see the white start to come out of it.
Right now, Curt, the sun in that area for a left fielder or a center fielder coming over to left center might be a little tough. People might recall in the All-Star game in Milwaukee, Claudel got a couple of balls he misjudged in left field, but he's a much better outfielder than he showed in that game. He's improved tremendously this year.
Here's Mr. Unsung on the Red Sox, little Denny Doyle. What a job he did after he came over from the California Angels. Wound up hitting .298, 4 homers, 36 RBIs. He had a long batting streak. He just kept sticking in hits and making a double play in the field. And, of course, with that name, they love him here, along with his play. Denny Doyle. A 1-1 delivery. Holtzman's curve is high and inside, 1-2. Holtzman can get off to a shaky start. And if you don't get him quickly, he'll settle down and get better as the game progresses. There's a long blast to right field. That ball is a foul. And the first two Red Sox have hit the ball hard off Ken Holtzman. Bonikas lined out hard to left. This is usually a graveyard, this ballpark, for a left-hander. Only one visiting left-handed starter won here this year. That was Rick Waits of the Indians, who beat the Red Sox 5-2 last Saturday. This is a park that, with the left-hander going, the home team loads their lineup with right-handers and they shoot for the left field wall. There's no wind right now. Right to the second baseman. This is the ball that gives Garner the toughest play. The rookie's been superb this year. The errors he makes are if the ground ball's right at him. He has done the pressure job for him. They were worried about second base, but he's been outstanding.
Well, they say he makes the double play as well as Dick Green. He has more range.
Younger. And Dick had his back operated on.
He's been very durable at second base, Curt.
Right. Carl Yastrzemski batting .269, 14 homers, 60 RBIs. Closed the season with a bit of controversy. He was benched, pennant-clinching game. There's a base hit into center field for him. He had hit only .210 since the All-Star game, and many thought he shouldn't be batting third in the lineup.
It'll be interesting to see how they will pitch Carl Yastrzemski. That ball was in about belt high. He tells me he has some trouble reaching for the ball with that left shoulder. Had somewhat of a shoulder separation. If they keep the ball in, he'll be able to hand it away. Breaking balls, especially or change of speeds, he might have trouble.
Carlton Fisk didn't play until June. He had knee surgery last year, broke his arm in spring training this year. He went through about a month of spring training, June, July, and then got hot. Wound up hitting .331. A ball to him. 10 homers, 52 runs batted in half a year. And he is a threat to put one over the left field wall anytime. 2 down, Yastrzemski at first. No score, first inning. Ground ball to Bando. Look out. Destroyed. Yastrzemski's coming to third. Fisk is going to second. They're waving him on. And in to score is Yastrzemski. The A's, Washington couldn't come out of the ball out of the corner.
It was expected in this playoff or championship series that the speed of the A's would pressure the Red Sox into mistakes. Bando on this one backs up on the ball, and then the ball in that tricky corner. There's a doorway there. Claudel Washington has Yastrzemski, I thought, dead to rights, but then he overthrew Bando, his cutoff man. You could see when Bando hit the ball, Yastrzemski had just rounded the third base bag, so some pretty daring base running and coaching by Zimmer.
Those are the mistakes the A's don't make usually. That was a double with Fisk and a run batted in. Now they've changed. 2 errors now. They've called it 2 errors. An error on Bando and an error on the throw to Bando from Washington. The A's went through, Tony and I remember, the World Series with the Dodgers last year in 5 games, and just with almost perfect execution. In fact, the Dodgers were even marveling at the way the A's executed defensively on relay throws, cutoffs, but they started this game in shabby style with 2 errors on 1 play. That wasn't an easy chance for Bando. He backed up on it. Freddie Lynn pops it out of play. He hit .331, second in the league in batting, 105 RBIs. He did it all for a rookie. I think I just, one sentence sum him up. He was born to play Major League Baseball. Just a kid. Never throws to the wrong base. It's a ground ball to Gardner.
Oh!
Here's a throw to the plate. Safe. Well, the A's look like they're in the playoffs for the first time, while the Red Sox have been in there 5 years in a row.
And Curt, not much credit will be given to a man who really set up these 2 runs, and that's the third base coach, Donnie Zimmer. He just kept Yastrzemski coming on the play before this. Now Gardner backing up on the ball again as Bando didn't got in trouble. There's a strong arm, but a good hard slide. Knocks tennis over.
What I said about Gardner, that ground ball right at him is the one that gives him trouble. It's an error charge to Gardner. Here's a throw. It's too late at the plate, as you can see. 2 runs in and 3 errors on the A's in 1 inning. 3 errors by the world champs in the first inning. Petrocelli hitting .239 with 7 homers, 59 runs batted in. First base is Lynn. He can steal. He only attempted 15 steals, successful on 10. You don't run much in this ballpark because 1 fly ball with a couple of men on can be a home run here. You might run yourself out of a big inning, but with 2 down, Lynn might be going. Holtzman has a good move to first. That's the sinker ball, the curve ball he has. First time ever in the playoffs. There's Alvin Dark. And Alvin, your team has made 3 errors for the first time in 1 inning of a playoff. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-0 Red Sox. There goes the runner. The little tapper. Fair ball. Throw. Nope, now they call it a foul ball. They had Lynn going.
Don Zimmer's coaching third base today like he played. He was a gutsy player. And he's the guy, I think, responsible for these 2 runs.
He really, they say a good third base coach should win a dozen games during the year. He gambled on Washington's throw. Washington has a great arm. Just outside. Holtzman thought he had it, but Washington's throw was high. So Zimmer gambled it. Maybe something would happen on that throw.
Talk about a guy who's great managerial timber. He's a man down on third base. He's managed once. I think he'll get another shot someday.
Where they're dropping off, going to be a lot of shots.
Holtzman has a much better move to first base than that. Trying to set Freddie Lynn up. Johnson many times with 2 strikes and 2 outs will send his base runner, give that man a fresh start up at the plate.
There goes the runner again, and it's foul back. Fred Lynn returning to first. 2 down. The Red Sox have 2 runs. The A's have made 3 errors in the first inning and have handed the Red Sox their 2 runs. Darrell Johnson will take them. Right after this game, you'll watch the Reds play the Pirates in Game 1 of the National League Championship. There's a ground ball to Campaneris. That should be it. He was sure of that one as he took it out of the glove. So the Red Sox 2 runs on 1 hit, 3 Oakland errors, 1 left. First inning, 2-0.
Which SX70 is your SX70? Should you buy the luxury model with all the features in genuine leather and chrome, or the new one without through-the-lens viewing at about half the price? Either way, you get those beautiful pictures developing in minutes before your eyes. The SX70 land cameras from Polaroid. All decisions should be this much fun.
If you were an oil man, you'd look at the world 2 ways today. Suppose the size of each country were in proportion to the oil we know is under its land. The world might look like this to you. The Middle East would become this big, because this area has over half the known oil reserves in the world. Other areas are dwarfed by comparison. But if you looked at the world in terms of who actually uses the oil, it might look like this. The United States, which has only 5% of the known reserves, uses 30% of the world's oil. Western Europe, which has only 2%, consumes over 25%. Exxon has presented this look at the world of oil because one of our jobs is getting the oil from where it's found in the world to where it's used.
The A's coaches, Bobby Winkles at third, Bobby Hoffman at first. Luis Tiant will pitch to Jackson, Tennis, and Rudy in the second. Jackson hit 2 home runs in the last game of the season to tie his buddy George Scott for the American League home run title, 36 apiece. Incidentally, Tony, Reggie hit 3 of his last 4 home runs to left field. He can be murderous in this ballpark. His second year in the majors, he came in here and had 10 RBIs in 1 game with 2 homers and 2 doubles. And in the 3-game series, he had 9 out of 14 with 4 homers in the 3 games. He is like a lot of batters I've seen. Vic Wirtz, Larry Doby, Luke Easter, fellows used to be with your club, who'd hit that big, high slice lob to left off the wall or into the screen. I still think this is a left-handed hitter's ballpark.
They try and pitch inside here because they're afraid you're going to hit that left field wall if they go away to a left-handed hitter. And you get a lot of balls you can handle. You can see the ball up high and in. They try and make you pull it to the spacious part. Jackson's the first to admit that of all the road parks he's played in, he's done better right up here at Fenway.
A lot of left-handers will tell you that on the visitors. The Red Sox and the A's played even this year. 6 games apiece, 4-2 in their own ballparks. Last year, the Red Sox beat the A's 8 times out of 12. They've had good luck against Oakland. Tiant's pitch outside to Jackson. You got to pitch up to Jackson. He loves that ball down and away from him or down. We'll see how Tiant works on him. They're playing him deep, a shade to right. The wind's in his favor right now. It just sprung up. 2 balls and no strikes. Slight breeze blowing from third to first.
Curt, I don't think Jackson, as we look at the on-deck hitter, Tennis, I don't think Jackson can be pitched any one way. I think you've got to change your patterns on him. He's a smart hitter. You can fool him one time on a certain pitch, and he'll wait for it.
And Tiant bores the fastball through. 2-1 to Reggie Jackson. Leading off for Oakland, who were shaken up in the first inning by committing 3 errors, giving the Red Sox 2 runs, 2-0 Boston. That one was blowing right by him. He's got the fastball today.
First inning, he tried to establish it. If he can throw 5 or 6 good fastballs per strikes, it'll set up all his slow stuff for later on in the game.
Jackson just a piece of that one. Notice how they're pitching him up. Up and in now. Charlie O. He's used to this. He put this club together almost by himself. All these young stars he signed when they were kids, and he keeps adding to it. Change up is hit into center field. Redlin waiting for it. 1 away.
Where was Charlie's green?
Charlie's got his
yellow today?
Well, he's got his gold on today. Gene Tennis has hit 4 homers off Tiant this year. And his manager, Darrell Johnson, said he causes us the most problem. Tennis hit .255, 29 homers, 85 RBIs, had over 100 walks. Now watch him. He's up on top of the plate. He's a pull hitter. Remember him in the World Series against Cincinnati? 2 homers these first 2 times at bat in the World Series. Give him that sidearm slow curve. Tiant has his assortment working now. They always have those matchups, and they said bench far superior to Tennis, and Tennis won the most valuable award of that series. Fastball, curveball, screwball, knuckleball, any kind of ball, any kind of motion.
That's it, the motion, Curt, that really upsets the hitter. You never know where the ball's going to come from. Over the top, sidearm. He came sidearm the last time. Let's see what he does this time.
Lucky him out. 3 strikeouts for Tiant. What a pickup the Red Sox made on him. One of the bargains of all time in baseball. After pitching in the American League for 7 seasons, he was dropped back to the minors, released by the Minnesota Twins. He was pitching in the International League. A minor league pitcher, and the Red Sox grabbed him, and he has been the bulwark of this pitching staff here since they got him back. Pitched his best ball after he's 30 years old. He's 34 going on 40. Joe Rudy.
There was a tip-off on his swing, Curt. The first pitch he swung at, that left hand went right off the bat. He is having trouble.
That's what I thought, too, watching him bat. The left thumb, he dislocated the thumb. 5 weeks out, came back, and then hurt it last week when he bruised the badly damaged left thumb. He has a peculiar grip and swing anyway, where he puts a lot of stress in that left hand. 2 strikes. Now, this guy looks murderous today so far.
And Curt, a lot of hitting instructors and hitters will tell you that left hand, which is the lead hand for Rudy, is the hand that is the strong hand in your swing to get that barrel of that bat out in front. The right hand you can get by with a little bit. In his case, a right-handed hitter.
2 down, nobody on. Tiant has set 5 in a row down, struck out 3 of them. 2-0 Red Sox. Sky-high job. Rudy struck out. He's out of there. They check for the first bug on fire. Watch this look to the sky by Tiant.
He is coming from all directions. We'll let you have a look at it again. Tennis couldn't pick up the ball. Look at that. He's upstairs, down from the side, and by the time you pick it up, it's too late.
The end of an inning and a half. The score, the Boston Red Sox 2, the Oakland A's nothing.
Your engine takes one heck of a beating, enduring more heat and stress than you could imagine. It's thirsty for an oil that's rich and tough enough to take it. Pennzoil's the oil. Pure Pennsylvania-grade crude oil, an oil that always performs. And since Pennzoil has its own additive, you don't pay extra for anything, but you have to ask for Pennzoil to get it.
I've practiced and practiced this course. I remember every turn, every drop. You gotta go all out at the Olympic Games. Fear doesn't enter your mind, ever. Because it causes mistakes. Or worse.
Number 11, in place.
This is it.
Going all out. It's the only way when just one can be best. They know that at the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company, because you judge the quality of their brewing skill every time you open a Schlitz.
Hey, get over those two. I'll just break the ice with a flick of my bick.
When I want to call my chick, all I do is flick my bick.
She's flicking her bick. She's flicking her bick.
Flick of the bick, sir. Oh, flick of the bick, sir. Why just light up when you can flick your bick? It's smooth, easy on the thumb, and you get thousands of flicks from a single bick. The Bic Butane.
Stop flicking your bick.
Tony Curtis and Roscoe Lee Brown team up to out-con a con man in the Sunday mystery movie premiere of McCoy at 9, 8 Central Time on NBC.
Two former big league managers coaching for the Red Sox. Pesky at first, Zimmer at third. Dwight Evans leading off, and Holtzman is high. Dwight Evans finished the season well. 274 average, 13 homers, 56 runs batted in. Foul ball. Excellent right fielder. Great arm. Look at the body on him, Tony. He hasn't quite developed into a star, but I think he has the potential to be one.
He already plays the right field like nobody else in the American League. And he's become a better hitter since he's gotten more aggressive, not taking as many pitches.
He's just 24. Lynn's 23. Jim Rice is 22. Fisk is 25, 26. Think they have a pretty good nucleus of hitters. Holtzman got him with a slow curve, one down. Cecil Cooper, here's another youngster. When he was a designated batter, he led the American League in hitting with a .311. Last 2 months, red hot. He had 14 homers, 44 RBIs. Another young player in his early 20s with a great future. Cecil Cooper playing first base today. With Rice out, they had to alter their lineup. Rice would be playing left field, and Yastrzemski would be at first, and Cooper would have been the designated hitter. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball, letter high in there to him, 1-1. If you just joined us, the A's committed 3 errors in the first inning, 2 on 1 play, and handed the Red Sox 2 runs. Very unlike the world champs.
Curt, when you think of Fenway Park and the kind of lineup, there's Ron Luciano umpiring at third. Very colorful umpire. He enjoys his work. But you always think up here at Fenway that the Red Sox will have their lineup stacked with powerful right-handed hitters to hit that wall. Darrell Johnson against a left-handed pitcher. Holtzman playing 4 left-handed hitters today.
That was a slow one, and Holtzman gets Cooper on a slow curve. That's his second strikeout. Rick Burleson may not be the most valuable here, but he's the most indispensable.
I think it's the young writer who first said that, one of the good writers in the country, Peter Gammons.
Right.
And he was the man who came out with that. He said, yeah, Lynn may be MVP, but this kid right here, if they'd lost him for 2 weeks, where would the Red Sox be?
He's the Rooster. They call him the Rooster. He's a cocky, spunky type player, Eddie Stanky type, does anything to beat you, and plays a very fine defensive shortstop. Sticks in big hits. At 252, had 62 runs batted in. 2 down, nobody on. The Red Sox ahead 2-0. Last of the second. kind of day when you like to sit up here and read poems by Robert Frost. Typical New England fall day, just glorious.
Well, I want to hear that. You going to do that?
No. 3 balls and no strikes to Burleson. 3-1. Don Zimmer sending up a sign, hit or take, or it may be no sign. And he walked him. 2 down. Burleson at first. He can steal a base. He swiped 8 out of 13 this year. We go to the top of the order, and Juan Benitez, who lined out to left field his first trip. 2 runs, a hit for the Red Sox. No errors, no runs, no hits. 3 errors for the A's. And they're all saying pressure will be on the young team. The A's look like they've never played in a postseason game before. Strike. Danny Doyle on deck. They'll play here tomorrow, 4 o'clock start. Consult the listing in your paper. We'll be splitting the country tomorrow with the National League games and the American League games at the same time. And the teams will move on to Oakland from here. There's a line drive to right field. That ball is fumbled by Jackson. Everybody's saved. He's having trouble picking it up. They're holding the runners. Well, these A's are having problems today. They just can't get a hold of the ball. That was a tough chance. Nothing easy about it. But I've seen Jackson make that play at times.
Ball kept sinking and slicing away from Jackson, and as spacious as this park is, especially with 2 outs, you'd back up a little bit more in right field to protect those alleys in the extra base hit. He almost made a good play. This time Zimmer playing it a little bit safe around third base bag.
They give Benitez a double, and he's stung the ball twice. Danny Doyle grounded out his first time. The Red Sox have runners on second and third. There's a line shot to right field. That ball is just foul. He missed a homer his first time up, and he just missed a home run a bit closer that time. These left-handers are striding right in. And we're getting Stan Bonson warming up now for the Oakland A's.
Interesting, Curt, the A's pitching plans after Holtzman starting today are a little bit up in the air. Some have said Blue will start tomorrow. Some have said Bonson. Heard the name even Jim Todd out of the bullpen as a potential starter.
Red Sox look very aggressive at the plate to me. How about you?
It's nice to have a 2-run lead and look good you can swing the bats.
Blowing away. I think right now Holtzman's best pitch is his curve. They're stinging his fastball. Doyle has that batting helmet extended down over the right side of his face. There's that slow curve. That's been his strikeout pitch. They've hit his fastball. That's Charlie Finney looking at his lineup.
Charlie Jr. behind him, and I noticed one of the daughters, the Finley daughters down there.
The 1-2 pitch. The curve. Didn't get a good piece of it and slapped into the right field stand. At third base is Burleson. He walked after 2 down. Then Benitez doubled off the glove of Jackson in right field. Red Sox are threatening again. They got 2 in the first. They have 2 men in scoring position here in the last of the second. Struck him out. He got him. The Holtzman pitched out of the jam. No runs, a hit, 2 left at the end of 2. It is 2-0 Boston.
This is cooking, it's a meal. Oh, real goodness from the Colonel, here's a meal. It's finger-licking good, so you know it's alright to let the Colonel's people do your cooking tonight. You want a good meal, but you don't want a fuss. Come to the people, you know you can trust. Real goodness from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
This is Don Carter watching Earl Anthony, well on his way to being the first pro bowler to win $100,000 in a year. His ball, the new Ebonite Jarrow Magnum 6. Earl started his winning year by taking the LA Open, but in the last 6 weeks of the Pro Tour, he's rolled the new Magnum 6 to win 3 firsts, 1 second, and a third. Get the ball that's helping Earl Anthony win. Ebonite's new Jarrow Magnum 6. You'll get more fun for the money.
There you are, sir. 2 tickets to Tucson, boarding at gate 2 in,
2 minutes?
You got it.
Miss, does Listerine antiseptic remind you of any number?
Yeah, 2.
What else?
That is, it lasts 2 times longer. Listerine kills germs.
Kills what?
The germs that can cause bad breath. And it gives me clean breath that lasts 2 times longer than the leading sweet-tasting mouthwash.
How many times longer than this?
2.
2. Like in me and you?
No.
For clean breath that lasts 2 times longer, Listerine.
Coming up next, the second half of our big doubleheader today, the Reds and the Pirates, Game 1 of the National League Championship. Royce against Gullett, a pair of left-handers. Mr. Tom Yockey has owned this ball club since 1933. Man with the dark glasses, that's Haywood Sullivan, former big league catcher who's the director of player personnel. See Mr. Yockey around the ballpark, he looks like he owns nothing. Little windbreaker and a $10 pair of pants. Works out with the youngsters around here when the team's on the road, down in the dressing room. Always has a sympathetic ear. He has a love affair with this ball club, and always has that, and with baseball. Billy Williams fouls it away. Billy Williams, I broadcast in the major leagues over 25 years. I've seen some great swings, and he has one of them. Sweet swinging Billy. Still has it. He had 23 homers as a designated hitter and 81 RBIs. We'll try and get a slow motion study of Williams' swing today for you. He's slowed down a lot past his prime, but he still has that beautiful swing.
Curt, I asked him about the adjustment he had to make from the National and the American League. He said, well, the obvious one, of course, is I didn't know the pitchers. He said, but that high strike for a while bothered me. I couldn't get up and at it, and they do call high fastball strikes in this league that they don't in the other. The low strike zone, he said, is about the same. He said also a lot more breaking balls here. And he said, surprisingly enough, when the pitcher is behind me, they still throw me curveballs here, which they didn't do in the National League. They threw me fastballs.
Well, he's ahead now, and he fouls the pitch back. It's 3-2 to Williams. Let's watch the swing, Tone.
Tiant's got a good fastball today. He struck out 4 of 6. He gets this one by Billy Williams. You can see how he wasn't fully extended out in front of the plate, but he does have a picturesque swing.
3-2 count to Billy Williams. Campaneris on deck, and then Phil Garner. Nobody on, nobody out. He's ball 4. He's on now. That's the first man to reach base for Oakland. Just announced in the press box, Don Hopkins has replaced Larry Haney on the Oakland roster due to Haney's sore arm. Bert Campaneris is batting 8th with a right-handed pitcher on the mound. When a left-hander goes, he'll hit second, and they'll drop Claudell Washington down. Campaneris hit .265, 4 homers, 46 runs batted in. The A's were bothered in the last month of the year. They didn't run much of the bases. North had a bad ankle. Campaneris a gimpy leg. Claudell Washington a pulled hamstring muscle. But they're healthy now. If they get a chance to run and get on today against Tiant, they'll probably go. Williams not much of a base-stealing threat at first. Slow pitch is just inside for a ball.
Curt, I'm surprised that Cooper's holding Williams on down at first. Campy hits through that hole on occasion between second and first. I'll show you a little something different in the American League with that home plate umpire, if we get a chance to.
The 1-0 pitch. Ball 2. Now Tiant wants a new ball to work with, and the Boston fans are getting disturbed about Tiant Watt getting behind.
Curt, for years, these American League umpires have used that inflatable chest protector, the outside protector, and also right over the catcher's head, directly over it. Now, Denkinger, one of those this year, who was wearing the inside protector, as you can see, like the National Leaguers have, and also is on the inside corner. Watch as he gets into his crouch, using a National League style.
2-1 to Bert Campaneris. Red Sox led the American League in runs scored. The A's were second. That's where you pay off, crossing that home plate. Team batting average, the Red Sox 275, the A's 254. The A's out-homered the Red Sox with a harder park at home to hit homers in. There's a high fly to right. That's the Sunfield. Evans makes the grab. We'll show you. We'll put a camera out there in the right field corner in about a few minutes from now and show you what it's like. I have seen ball games won and lost out there with right fielders being blinded by fly balls.
7th, 8th, and 9th inning is when it will really get bad in right field. And, of course, tomorrow, Curt, with a later start, it'll be bad right from the start of the game.
The immortal Babe Ruth, they used to switch him in his later years and had him play left field here instead of his customary right field because of the sun field. 1 out, runner on first. This is Phil Garner, the only rookie in the A's lineup. He had 246, had 6 homers, 54 runs batted in. Strike 1. The A's had 151 homers, the Red Sox 134. The A's were second in the league, the Red Sox 4th. The A's were second in stolen bases in the American League to the Angels. The Red Sox were 10th, but here's an interesting story. 183 stolen bases for Oakland, just 66 for the Red Sox. And when the two teams played each other, the A's stole 9 bases, the Red Sox 7. 1 out, runner on first, 2-0 Red Sox, 3rd inning. And the A's didn't steal on Fisk. I think they tried 2 or 3 times. They threw him out. Trying to beat that one to right field. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Garner. Again for late tuners in. 3 errors by the A's in the 1st inning. 2-on-1 play by Bando and Washington. Then an error on the second baseman Garner. The next batter allowed the Red Sox to come up with 2 gift runs, and they're leading 2-0 in the 3rd. The A's have not threatened against Tiant. They've just had their first runner on, Billy Williams, who's walked. The 1-2 pitch. Strike 3, and that's the 5th strikeout for Tiant already. He had him guessing. Top of the order, and Bill North lined out to center his first trip.
What an edge Tiant has with that motion. You're up there hitting, you look one time and you'll see the ball coming from almost straight over the top, and you look that place the next time to pick up the ball quickly. He'll come from the side, so he's always got that fraction of a second edge on the hitter with the different motions.
Playing North just a shade toward left. Top of the A's batting order. 2-0 Boston. Tomorrow, Vida Blue against Reggie Cleveland. There's a reason for that. Reggie Cleveland can come back with 3 days rest. If they pick Rick Wise tomorrow, with his sore arm history of last year, he needs 4 days rest. So they could bring Cleveland back in the 5th game if it went that far if they needed him. And Tiant could come back also for that 5th game. Slow ball, high, or 4th game.
Also, Curt, Cleveland's been a better pitcher in the month of September than Rick Wise or Bill Lee. Bill Lee had some elbow problems. Cleveland finished fast. He's 10-3 since July.
Very well. 2 balls and no strikes to Bill North. At first base, Billy Williams, 2 down. High and away, and now Tiant wants another ball.
And Curt, pitching plans can change. They've got the super scouts, Malzone, Claiborne, and Eddie Casco followed Oakland around. And also they saw in September.
Makes me laugh. Go ahead, though.
In September, the 2 hot hitters on the A's were right-handed hitters, Bando and Tennis.
You call Frank a super scout. You know, I can't imagine him in that role when I broadcast him so many years as a great 3rd baseman. But he is an excellent scout. I used to call him the Pizza Kid. He had a pizza parlor over in New York. That's a strike. 3-1. Billy North. Quizzical look.
The A's, on the other hand, had former manager of the Kansas City Royals chasing the Red Sox around. That's Jack McKeon.
3-1 pitch. Ball 4, and Tiant has walked 2 this inning. So now the A's have runners on first and second, 2 down, and young Claudell Washington came up.
Number 15.
Struck out. First time as he comes up here in the 3rd. At second base is Billy Williams. Bill North's at first. This is star marked for years to come. This man. Found him right there in the high school playgrounds of Oakland. Didn't play baseball in high school. His science teacher, that was his most difficult subject, was a track and field coach. So he went out for track and field, not baseball. He's amazing. They say he doesn't even know who's pitching half the time. Just gets up there and hits the ball. Fouls it away. He was a little out in front of that one, Tony.
Tiant pulled the string. He turned the ball over. Washington stands way back in the batter's box, almost as far with that left foot as you can get in the corner. He strides into the ball, which gives him that, he can keep those hips closed a little bit longer. It gives him that power he has to left center field and right center field.
2 out, runners on first and second. 1 strike to Claudell Washington. There's a high fly ball to left field. Yastrzemski waiting, has it. Both sides retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, 2 left. At the end of 2.5, it's 2-0 Boston.
Foreign cars are fun, but...
Hi! I need a new muffler.
Where does it go? The glove compartment?
Muffler.
Automatic. But you gotta leave it in the car.
Foreign car mufflers aren't foreign to Midas. We now stock and install mufflers on most foreign cars the way we've been installing them on American cars for the past 20 years.
I think I'll try Midas.
They all act like they're starving.
Hey, serve us with a smile.
With this headache?
Here, try something strong. Anison's Adult Strength.
The others are for adults.
But while ordinary aspirin, buffered aspirin, and Anison start with the same amount of pain reliever, Adult Strength Anison adds 23% more. Then Anison adds an extra ingredient not found in the others.
All better?
That Anison's great. It sure fixed my headache.
We're going to prove that Edge lets you shave closer than the leading foam. First, listen to an unshaven face using an ordinary credit card. Now we'll shave the left side with foam, the right with Edge. With Edge's protective lubrication, we pressed harder to shave closer than foam. Now listen to the foam side. Then listen to the Edge side. Foam, Edge. Edge lets you shave closer than the leading foam.
A football-baseball doubleheader, 1 o'clock. It'll be Denver against Buffalo and the amazing O.J. Simpson. New England against the Jets. Jim Plunkett may play. Pittsburgh against Cleveland. Joe Green will be mad. And Cincinnati versus Houston. They've each opened the season 2 wins and no losses. At 2 o'clock, Miami, Green Bay, followed by either the Oakland A's against the Red Sox or Pittsburgh against Cincinnati. Consult the listings in your paper for the baseball game to be carried at 4 o'clock in your area. Carl Yastrzemski singled his first time up. Kenny Holtzman sends him a curveball that's bounced fair, and he's out. 1 down. Fair ball. Yastrzemski's out.
Little tapper, Yaz way out in front. Holtzman now beginning to change speeds a little bit more. That ball actually looked like it bounced back in the fair territory.
What counts is the bag. Went right over the bag, fair.
Doesn't matter where it
actually
bounces.
picked it up and foul. Pudge Fisk. Pudge. Does he look pudgy? Slender. He has the look of a catcher. Tall, willowy, but he was a chubby kid up in New Hampshire, so they got the nickname Pudge. That stuck with him. A high curve. That'll get you in trouble in this park. Ball 1 to Pudge Fisk, who reached on an error. He sent a hot 2-hopper to Bando in the first. Bando backed up on it and let it go through. There's that change of pace curve, sort of turned it over. Holtzman, as we said at the start of the game, if you get him on the ropes and let him get away, he'll get better and better on you. The 1-1 delivery. There's a high fly. Hit that off the bat handle. That's headed toward the seats. Out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Didn't have a good stroke on that one.
That area right there is another one of those little troublesome corners that you can have here in Fenway Park. You can see how close the foul line is to the left field stands. It's about 3 feet away, where a fan can almost reach out and touch a fair ball. Little jutting out spot just in front of the umpire in the left field corner. The shortstop will have to go out there, help his left fielder out.
Holtzman has pitched very well the last month. This is a tough play for Bando. Up and on, out at first base on a pity pat play. Bando, a very strong, accurate arm. Not a great range, but he gets that job done there.
Bando shows what experience can do for you right here. A lot of players might have rushed the play, but he knows in a ball like that, when you're cool and you hit the ball at the end of the bat, you don't get a good jump out of the batter's box.
Good call by the umpire. Foot was up in the air when the ball hit the glove. 2 down, nobody on. Fred Lynn. What a day he had, a night he had on June 18th. A rookie. He had 3 homers, a triple, a single, and knocked in 10 runs. We pause briefly for identification. Wait a minute. Hold on. There's a long drive to right field. Waiting for it is Jackson, and it's 3 up, 3 down. So that's the end of 3 here at Fenway Park, and the score is Boston 2, Oakland nothing.
WRGB, Channel 6, Schenectady.
These men are helping Exxon provide energy, but they're not oil men. They're welders, pipe fitters, machinists, and construction workers, and the job they're doing is a vital one. Exxon and its partner are constructing a huge platform that will go to sea to produce oil. When this platform is completed and raised on end, it will stand in 275 feet of water. To build it has taken over 3 years of design, engineering, and construction, and over $25 million. Next to it, the legs of an even bigger platform are taking shape. This one will stand 555 feet high in deeper water and cost nearly $100 million. So you see, the job of producing oil offshore today is a big one and an expensive one. No matter whether you're looking off the coast of Scotland or Malaysia or Louisiana or Texas or California or Alaska.
Here's Joe DiMaggio.
Particular about your coffee? You need Mr. Coffee, the greatest coffee brewer ever. A precision coffee brewing system that makes a perfect pot of coffee every time. The best I've ever tasted. Our filter, your coffee. Mr. Coffee does the rest. Faster than instant, better than fresh perked. Whatever brand you use, Mr. Coffee brews it best. Mr. Coffee, the greatest coffee brewing system ever.
As we look in from our right field foul line camera, we're going to pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. All right, the Red Sox scored 2 runs on 3 A's errors in the first inning. That's been it. We're going to the 4th inning. Sal Bando leading off for the A's, and in here to call the play-by-play for NBC, Tony Kaye.
All right, Curt Tiant has already struck out 5 in 3 innings. He has not yet allowed a hit. Boston 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors. Bando way out in front in a sweeping curveball from Tiant. Louis' strikeout high this year was against Baltimore, 12. And he has pitched some excellent baseball in September, and the Red Sox have needed it. Big, high, slow curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, there's been something strange about this playoff series. I just remembered. The A's haven't had a fight all season. Or they didn't have a fight in the clubhouse before the game today. They've been very quiet this year.
Bando pops this one up to short right center field. Freddie Lynn and Evans over. Evans has it for the first out. You know, Curt, mentioning that, in the batting cage today, Wes Stock, the pitching coach, was throwing batting practice, and he was pitching to Billy North. And he kept throwing balls high and tight, high and tight. North got mad and threw his bat down and said, all you're doing is pitching me inside. Throw me something away. And Reggie Jackson yelled out, we're ready, we're ready. The A's are ready.
The A's are ready.
We're fighting again.
Suspension on the ball club.
Reggie Jackson. He flied to center field in the 2nd. 2-0. Boston leads over the Oakland A's. We're in the 4th inning. Almost a hesitation pitch. Tiant thought he had it.
Look at Reggie laughing on that one. He got a kick out of it. Well, you know what they say about marriage? Those who fight together stay together. That sums up the A's, I guess. They win 3 world titles doing it.
Another breaking ball has Jackson way out in front. A ball and a strike. 1 out.
Here's Tiant again. Everything is falling apart. And now coming back together again. Head, arms going one way, legs the other, eyes, ears, nose, chin. Jerky.
Over the top again. He tried to sink a fastball low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike on Reggie Jackson.
Bet he tries to come in high and tight on him this time. Let's see.
He did.
Got a little bit around that plate with that one. That was a dangerous pitch for him. 2 balls, 2 strikes, huh?
1 out. Gene Tennis will follow Reggie Jackson. Luis Tiant is not yet allowed a hit. We're in the 4th. Over the top again. He still has a good fastball. He's blowing the balls right by some of these A's hitters, especially Jackson on the last pitch. Also Billy Williams. They're a little bit late. Luis Tiant being watched by his mother and father from Cuba.
They say his father was a tremendous pitcher in the Cuban League and in the American Negro League. He played for the New York Cubans in that league, a left-hander.
Way inside. Count goes 3-2 on Jackson.
Tiant's starting to throw a lot of pitches. 3-2, 3-1. He walked 2 in the 3rd.
He had some lower back problems during the year, some stiffening, missed some starts. Then they discovered a flaw in his delivery. Just got under it. High fly to center field. Freddie Lynn with the glasses down. 2 outs.
He's had 3 easy plays in the game, but this season, this youngster has made some of the most sensational catches seen around the American League in a long time, especially one he made at Yankee Stadium that they'll never forget.
Curt, a lot of
Shea
outfielders.
Stadium. I keep thinking of the Yankees at Yankee Shea Stadium.
Next year, back in Yankee Stadium, they say it's going to be a beautiful ballpark. But Freddie Lynn catches so many balls in short center field, right and left center field, and dead center, and yet he does not get hurt on balls hit over his head. He is great in the outfield and play situations. Look at this, set up way outside, and Tiant hits the target. Tennis struck out in the 2nd. Two outs. Boston leads 2-0. Slow curve, just missed. He's mixing up his pitches a lot more now, Curt. He had the fastball going early. He still has it, but he's starting to mix in the breaking pitches. Haven't seen what looks like a knuckleball yet, but he has one. From the side, had Tennis backing out.
No wonder he's got a bad back. See him twist on that one.
2 balls, 1 strike with 2 outs. Gene Tennis, the hitter, facing Luis Tiant. He is not allowed a hit. Got the ball in on him again. A lot of fly balls to center field. Lynn with the glasses, battling the sun with his glove. 3 up, 3 down again for Luis Tiant and the Red Sox. We go to the last of the 4th. 2-0 Boston.
Reach out and touch her, send her the sunshiner. Reach out and touch her, send her the sunshiner. Reach out with the gift of love from the florist of FTD.
The FTD Sunshiner Bouquet is a bright new way of remembering birthdays or any happy occasion. Your FTD florist can send it almost anywhere. When you can't be there,
reach out with the sunshiner from the florist of FTD.
When the earth is covered with an ocean of ripe grain, you're up before the sun, working harder in a day than most men work in a week. But when that sun goes down, your time's your own, and you call it Miller time. Time for the best tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. If you've got the time, we've got the...
Tom Laughlin of Billy Jack versus Ron O'Neill of Superfly.
Without this gold, we cannot pay the illegal taxes the Americans have put on us with Spanish blood.
This is not the Circle K, Paulo. These are innocent Indians that are here under the protection of our priests.
Is there no way he might reconsider? He would rather die than listen to reason.
The master gunfighter. He fought like an army and lived like a legend. Rated PG. Starts today at motion picture theaters and drive-ins everywhere.
Well, we have some of those A's pennants here. We've seen a lot of them in the last 3 World Series. A's fans, they got booed roundly here at Fenway Park. Speaking of the World Series, beginning next Saturday, it'll open in the American League city, either Boston or Oakland. If Oakland, the coverage will begin at 3:30 Eastern Time. If Boston, coverage at 12:30 Eastern Time. All World Series games will be preceded by the baseball world of Joe Garagiola on NBC Sports. #1 in live coverage of major sports events all year round. 2-0, Red Sox ahead. Tony Kubek, last of the 4th inning.
2 unearned runs scored by the Boston Red Sox. Some aggressive base running. Bando and Claudel Washington, in case you joined us late, with errors in the first. Rico Petrocelli, Dwight Evans, and Cecil Cooper to face Kenny Holtzman. Holtzman right now, like Luis Tiant, could be riding a shutout if not for the errors. 2 balls, no strikes. Petrocelli struggled all year long with the bat, but he got some key hits in September down the stretch. He hits this one to right center field. Reggie Jackson. A little bit of a wind kicking up now, blowing in from left field. 1 out. There's the flag. The ball, the wind blowing, from the left field corner to the right field corner will pull balls in the park, hit the left field.
That ball that Claudel Washington hit the left field in the 3rd, with the wind out, might have been high off the fence. So the right-handers today don't have the advantage of the wind going toward the left field fence.
Dwight Evans takes a pitch inside for a strike. Holtzman will not come inside too often to right-handed hitters. He can hit that outside corner with a sinker, the change of speed pitch, also the curve. Now he's back working the outside. He goes the opposite way. Billy North with a nice running catch to right center field. The sun has got to be bad in that area, Curt.
That's the best play of the ball game. That's right. And North with outstanding speed, on the move, gliding smoothly. He's looking up in the sun right now. And that probably blinded him momentarily and caused him to stumble. He held on to the ball.
Curt, this Oakland A's outfield has a lot more raw speed than the Boston Red Sox outfield. They're all good outfielders. They can be erratic with their throwing and as far as getting a jump on the ball.
Yeah, one thing, Holtzman's getting better as the innings reel by.
Cecil Cooper with 1 strike, 2 outs.
He's seen nothing but curves, Cooper. Struck out on a curveball in the 2nd inning.
North and Jackson playing Cooper as a full hitter. There's a hole in left center field. They're all playing deep. There's that gap in left center. See Campaneris playing Cooper almost up the middle. He pulls an outside pitch. Jackson drops in front of him. So Cooper's on with a single and 2 outs. We'll bring up Rick Burleson. We're in the last of the 4th. Luis Tiant and Kenny Holtzman. Tiant has not yet allowed a hit. Holtzman has given up 3, but he was hurt by 3 errors. One strike.
You know, it's odd to think that a team has to come in here and pitch a pair of left-handers to open a playoff series. That's where they won it without Catfish Hunter, but that's where they probably really need him right now to come in here and open with a right-hander of his caliber and have at least one of their left-handers back home again for the third game.
Cooper edging off. He was leading in the direction of second base as if he was going to go. Well, I guess it's common knowledge now that historically left-handers do not fare well in Fenway Park with the left field fence. But the two most reliable pitchers. There's a bunt by Burleson, but too hard to Bando. 3 outs. The Red Sox leave one man on at the end of 4 here in Fenway Park, Boston. It's the Red Sox 2, the Oakland A's nothing.
This is an antiperspirant spray called Sure. It's different. Really. Most antiperspirant sprays go on wet and oily, compared to Sure, which goes on dry. And Sure keeps it drier. Prove it under your own 2 arms. Try Sure on your right side, and the spray you like best on your left side. If you're like most people, your right side will convince your left side. You'll be drier. We're Sure.
Where's my dandruff shampoo?
We're out.
Oh.
Try this beauty shampoo.
Beauty shampoo?
Smells mild, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Leaves your hair soft and clean. And kind of sexy looking.
Right. But I have dandruff.
This shampoo controls dandruff just as good as yours. Maybe better.
If that's true, I will eat my hat.
Well, it's true.
Head and shoulders, you tricked me.
Yep. And don't forget to take your lunch.
Strong against dandruff. Gentle on your hair.
Larson is ready. 2 strikes, ball 1. Here comes the pitch. Strike 3.
Larson's perfect game is one of 6 memorable World Series moments in a panoramic painting for the official 75 World Series program. Inside, there are exciting stories of the 75 season, plus cover photos of the 1975 All-Star teams. For your copy, send a $250 check or money order to Major League Baseball Program, P.O. Box 666, San Francisco, California.
The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball. And Curt, let's have a good look at Joe Rudy if we can see him swinging. He looked like his hand was bothering him the last time up.
All right, Tony, you study him, and our fellows will get a couple of reruns on him in slow motion. He means a lot to these A's. In every one of the last 3 years of postseason and World Series play, he was their Mr. Reliable. He struck out his first time up. It looked like the thumb was giving him trouble. Luis Tiant has shut out the world champs the first 4 innings. Pitches high and tight to Joe Rudy, who says hello at the beginning of the season, goodbye at the end, and in between plays a mess of baseball for you. 1 ball, no strikes. He used to be underpublicized. I think now he's fully rated by fans across the country. What do you think about that swing?
It's a pretty good swing. He didn't let that hand off the bat at all. He got a fastball up. An excellent swing. It did not look as if that hand bothered him at all.
Oh, that was a good grip. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rudy. Billy Williams on deck, and then Bert Campaneris. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. No runs, no hits, 3 errors for the A's, all in the first inning that gave the Red Sox their 2 runs. Strange game so far. But you get weird games in these playoffs. The A's clinched the American League title last year by getting only 1 hit against the Baltimore Orioles. Off Mike Cuellar, who I think walked 10 or 11 in that game, didn't he? 2 balls and a strike. There's a blast off Tiant's glove. Tiant going, and his throw is too late. Man, that's a base hit for Rudy. A wicked shot, and it's good he took it in the gloved hand and not the pitching hand.
Don't know how Louis even got his glove up in time as it was hit back at him like a bullet. Curt, I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, but I'll make this statement. I think since
Probably
we've
won't.
seen, be typical of you, since League Championship Series starts, I've felt that the hardest baseball play that we see played all year is played right in the Championship Series. And I think the most emotional baseball played from a player's viewpoint. There's so much more pressure, so much more money at stake and pressure.
All right, let's watch this hit, and then I'll agree with you. Watch this shot back to the box. Look at this. Whew. And he nearly stuck his pitching hand up there.
That's a tough pitch for a pitcher. Away, the ball that comes back at you.
Billy Williams, the batter. Strike. I think you're absolutely right. And Sal Bando was quoted in one of the papers today as saying that the playoffs had more pressure than the World Series. He said, if you don't win the playoffs, you've won nothing during the year. But at least if you're in the World Series, you've won your league championship. And he thinks they're much more difficult to play in and much more pressure on you than the World Series. Change up. Strike 2 to Billy Williams.
Well, let me mark that down. Gowdy agrees with Kubek one time. We'll keep a running tally here.
Tony, you know I respect your baseball mind as one of the greatest that's ever been on the playing field or in the various telecasting booths of America. 2 strikes.
Oh, I'm sick.
To Billy Williams. Runner on first is Rudy. Nobody out. 2-0 Red Sox. Williams going after the inside pitch. 0-2 to Williams. Bert Campaneris on deck. Tomorrow, Vida Blue for the A's and Reggie Cleveland, a right-hander, for the Red Sox. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Games will be seen in various parts of the country. Consult the listings in your paper. He hits a high pop foul. Waiting for it is Cecil Cooper and takes it. 1 down.
Curt, with Mr. Finley around, I wonder if it will be Vida Blue. If the A's come back, you might see a change.
Could be.
Talk to some of the members of the pitching staff. There's Charlie Finley. But they seem to be up in air as to whom will be the starting pitcher tomorrow, depending upon the outcome of this game.
What they might do is pitch like 3 right-handers and then bring Fingers on. Depends on what happens today. And if they get a right-hander and he gets him out, they'll let him keep going. And that's Wes Stock, the pitching coach. There's Alvin Dark, the manager. What a compliment. And what a difference a year makes. Sal Bando said if Alvin Dark isn't the manager of the year this year, it's a crime. He said he did the greatest job manipulating a pitching staff I've ever seen. Bert Campaneris fly to right field his first time up. In fact, all the players were raving about it. There's a high fly ball to deep center. Back is Freddie Lynn, waiting, and the rookie has it. Immediately fires in. Fire toward first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 putouts for rookie Lynn.
That's an indication of what kind of fastball Tiant has. He's getting the ball by the hitters. They keep hitting the long fly to center field. They're not pulling the ball at all.
Curt, players kid Lynn about being a square. He still wears narrow lapels.
Aren't they back?
They may be back. He may lead the charge back with them. 2 down. Rudy at first.
From the bench, the Red Sox bench now, they are moving Freddie Lynn over more toward dead center field. He was over in left center field for Garner. Apparently Tiant's going to try and keep the ball away.
This is the top of the 5th. And Tiant has a 1-hit shutout. Garner fouls it away. They're not getting around on him.
Little tag to that story. You talked about the compliment Bando gave Alvin Dark. Bando is the same man you might recall last year who said of Alvin Dark that he couldn't even manage a meat market. What a change of heart he's had.
They change.
A lot of pressure on Alvin Dark, taking over for Dick Williams. He's expected to win with his club.
Let Charlie Finley say I was a butcher for a while. Did he ever? It's hard to manage a meat market. Pitched a little bit high, that soft delivery to Phil Garner, who struck out, took a called third strike his first time. 2 down, Rudy at first. The Red Sox ahead 2 runs, getting their 2 runs on 3 Oakland errors in the first inning. And pitching has dominated since. Brilliant pitching by Tiant and Holtzman. Pitching usually dominates these short series. Count is 2-1.
Talk about Bando giving the compliment again to Dark and how he handled his pitching staff. This Oakland bullpen has been superb, led by Raleigh Fingers, but Jim Todd done a great job, Paul Lindblad, and they have been used a lot. You can see how many men Alvin Dark has down there. He said if he has to, he'll use 6 pitchers today.
I think Todd's been the real difference for the A's this year. The addition of Todd, he rested, or allowed Fingers and Lindblad to get more rest, fouled away. He has been outstanding in that bullpen. Oakland staff had only 36 complete games, tying Milwaukee for 10th in the American League for complete games. When you have a bullpen like that, though, you don't need them. There's the Red Sox bullpen. Two and 2 count. Phil Garner batting 9th in the A's lineup. There's a high foul. That's hoisted toward the box seats. Fisk going to try and lean in. He's got it. Carlton Fisk leaning in and grabbing a $10 box seat.
Curt, you talked about how much his bat had meant to the Red Sox in the month of September, but what he's doing right now, his great defensive ability, maybe even a bigger asset in the way he can throw to hold these Oakland A's base runners.
He's a marvelous catcher. So we've gone halfway through American League Championship Game 1. It's Boston 2 and Oakland nothing.
The 75 Dodge Custom. $200 cash back makes it America's lowest price pickup. And now it's available as the Spirit of 76 at a special low price. A pickup powered by a slant 6 engine that got 26 miles to the gallon, more than any other American pickup. Get $200 cash back on the Spirit of 76 at your Dodge dealers now.
Bullfrog is the right name for that fellow. Sounds like a wild bull got loose in the pond. I like listening to natural sounds, and here's one I really like. Post Great Nuts is a natural cereal, fortified with vitamins, oven-baked, then toasted into crisp nuggets that taste nutty, sound crunchy. Even with my eyes shut, I'd know Grape Nut cereal by its nutty flavor and crunchy sound.
Tony Curtis and Roscoe Lee Brown team up to out-con a con man in the Sunday mystery movie premiere of McCoy at 9, 8 Central Time on NBC.
From center field, let's look again at that fine play by Carlton Fisk. And watch Luis Tiant, how he helps Fisk find the ball. There it is. Fisk with a mask off, and look how nice and polite the Fenway Park fans are. I wonder if they'd have done the same thing, getting out of the way for an Oakland A.
Those are $10 seats, I tell you.
That's how Jerry got such a
Takes good plays.
over there.
You have to make a good play in those kind of seats. Juan Beniquez, line to left, double to right. Twice he's hit vicious line drives, but this time he popped it up as Holtzman turned it over on him. And Garner, the second baseman, squeezes it for the first Red Sox out in the last of the 5th inning. The score, Boston 2, Oakland nothing. Both Boston runs in the first inning. We'll keep repeating because fans keep joining that Oakland made 3 errors in that first inning and handed the Red Sox 2. Denny Doyle grounded out, struck out. Twice he's narrowly missed home runs on line drive fouls down the right field line. He looks like Rod Laver, the tennis player. Rudy will flip to the pitcher covering Holtzman, and they're 2 down. Holtzman should be matching Tiant with a shutout right now if his teammates had helped him more. Carl Yastrzemski is singled and grounded out. He's had a Low batting average against left-handers the last half of the year. But he hit a single right up the middle of the first inning.
He has been booed more often than not up here in Fenway Park, but that little round of applause you heard was, I think, an appreciation of the fact after the fans learned that Yastrzemski's been playing with that bad shoulder, Curt, the second half of the year. He refused to get out of the lineup. He's adjusted his batting style a little bit, brought his hands down lower. He can't get them up quite as high.
Holtzman delivers a strike. Holtzman came in here with I think 18 scoreless playoff innings in a row. He still should have that scoreless streak going. Here's a curve at the knee, strike 2. He's a machine right now.
You might watch Holtzman closely. He throws, a lot of pitching coaches will say he throws across his body. It's difficult to pick his pitch up. Watch where he steps. Almost a crossfire.
1, 2, 3. And we've gone 5 innings at Fenway. It is still the Red Sox 2 and the A's nothing.
Cricket lighter is really quite a light. It'll last for months and still burn bright. Whew, it's not easy being America's favorite disposable lighter. You've got to be dependable, adjustable, and most of all, you've got to be packed with thousands of lights.
Cricket, you missed one.
Oh, no. Get thousands of surefire lights. Catch a Cricket lighter by Gillette.
What a face, you try to face, it's a perfect face, yes it is. Feels so smooth, twin blade smooth, so perfectly smooth, the best there is. You took your perfect face and gave it a perfect track to shave. You shaved it close and safe, now you've got that perfect.
Get the closest thing to a perfect shave. The Gillette Track 2 shaving system in regular or adjustable cartridges.
That perfect track to face.
We pause now for station identification.
Disney, followed by the Family Holdback. 2 hours of family entertainment, Sunday.
Troy Savings Bank brings you a bill-paying account for today's needs. The Right Now account, and it's free. It's a no-passbook, non-interest-bearing account you use to pay bills and make purchases. There's no minimum balance, no charge for personalized payment orders, a free monthly statement with canceled payment orders, and no service charges. For convenience sake, open your new account at Troy Savings right now.
Watch News Center 6 tonight at 6 on Super 6.
Youngsters scattered all over in the most unusual places. That's way outside the ballpark. That's a block away. Must have eyes like an eagle. Top of the A's batting order in the 6th inning. Bill North, Claudell Washington, and Sal Bando. Foul back. North has lined the center and walked.
He's a switch hitter and a much better hitter right-handed, which is his natural way, than he is a left-handed. He's a 300 hitter from the right side, about 250 from the left side.
Had ideas that time and brought Petroselli charging. Ball and a strike to Billy North. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Red Sox. No runs, 1 hit for the A's. They made 3 errors. Just a little bit inside. Now he's thrown 3 pitches with 3 different speeds. To Bill North. 2-1. Tiant has walked 2. That came about in the 3rd inning. 3 balls and a strike to North. The third base coach, Bobby Winkles.
Probably the take sign. They'd like to get a man on, get something going. North, a base threat, base stealing threat. Like to get Tiant pitching from the stretch, worrying about the runner instead of the hitter.
Tiant goes 3-2 to him. Alvin Dark, who used to play in Boston with the Boston Braves. He was quite a shortstop, very heady ball player in his day with the Giants and the Braves. And there's a fly ball to center fielder Freddie Lynn. He lost in the sun momentarily, now recovers and grabs it.
A good shot of what a lot of veteran outfielders cannot do, and he is still a young kid. He circles the ball to look away from the sun. You see, watch him loop toward right field. Now he is looking away from the sun. It's something that Casey Stengel used to always talk about. Play a little bit out of position sometime or try and get in position to look away from the sun, which Lynn did very well. What an outfielder he is.
The ball player he is. 6 putouts for him in center field. No great catches, but he's been there and judged everything. Had a beat on the ball all the way. This is Claudell Washington, and he hammers a line drive to left fielder Yastrzemski. 2 down.
Looks like he never left.
Second half of the doubleheader. The Reds and the Pirates, game 1. Royce against Gullett. Johnny Bench, Pete Rose, Joe Morgan. And they're pitching left-hander, the Reds trying to stop Oliver and Stargell and Parker in that Pirate lineup. You'll see it right here on NBC. Joe Garagiola, Maury Will. 2 down, nobody on. Bando struck out and flied out. Only 1 hit today by the A's off Tiant. Low for a ball, and that was by Joe Rudy, who hit a vicious smash off Tiant's pitching glove. Reggie Jackson on deck. That's an excellent sidearm pitch to a right-hander. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's had the A's timing upset the entire ball game. Hitting late on the fastball, out in front on the off-speed stuff.
He's ahead of him, 1-2.
There were some who expected Tiant to have a little control problem today because he hadn't been out on the mound in the game for quite a while. He's been right where Fisk has set up the target.
Outside, he defeated Cleveland on a 4-hit shutout his last start. That was last Friday night at Boston. He has a 5-game winning streak against Oakland, beating them 2 times, no losses, 74, and 2-0 this year. Fouled away into the seats. His lifetime record against Oakland in the American League, 14 wins and 7 losses.
Curt, I saw you talking to a name that may or may not be familiar to some of our fans before the ball game. You talked to Buck Cannell, one of the famous Latin American broadcasters, been around for around 150 years.
Yeah.
You were talking to him about Luis Tiant's dad.
Said he was one of the best pitchers he ever saw. And he saw him pitch in Cuba and saw him pitch in the Negro American League. Another strikeout. Bando chasing a bad ball. The A's go down again to the baffling assortment of Luis Tiant. At the end of 5½, Boston 2, Oakland nothing.
Captain Scott! You're asleep! Snap out of the chair!
Thanks. I needed that.
If you need waking up, slap on some Skin Bracer. Bracer's the morning one. Its skin tightener and chin chillers work like a cold slap in the face.
Thanks, I needed that.
In engine wear tests by a major research firm, 21 cars of various makes and mileage were driven a total of 500,000 miles with and without STP oil treatment. 9 used a premium 30-weight oil, and 12 used a premium multi-grade oil. On average, STP measurably reduced wear from metal-to-metal friction in bearings, cylinders, and other sliding iron and steel parts. STP. It helps your oil do a better job.
Tomorrow, grandstand in a football-baseball doubleheader. Grandstand before, during, and after all the NBC action, keeping you up to date on what's happening around the world of sports. You'll see 5 NBC regional football games, followed at 4 o'clock by one of the second games of the Baseball League Championship Series. You'll also see via satellite the world's richest thoroughbred horse race. That's Grandstand. News, features, and commentary. Tomorrow, starting at 12:30 Eastern Time. Jim Lonborg, who in the '67 World Series pitched a 1-hitter here for the Red Sox, but won another game. It came out against Bob Gibson in Game 7, and Gibson bested him to win the World Championship for the Cardinals. Lonborg, now pitching with the Phillies, lives here on Marlborough Street in Boston. Carlton Fisk getting a hand for that brilliant play, catching a foul pop in the box seats. Reached to an error and grounded out. It's a high fly to left field. Washington over there in the corner for it, and it's in the seats. $35,578 to pay to tennis. They must have put them in here with shoehorns today. I think the seating capacity here is 33,000 and something.
What do they draw this year? $1,700,000
in this little ballpark. Tom Yawkey told Tony and me yesterday they could have sold 250,000 tickets a game here. Baseball's dying, huh? Cincinnati turned back 500,000 requests for the playoffs at World Series. Hits that off the fist to Campaneris. He has him easily, and there's one down in the last of the 6th inning.
There's a guy you're going to hear a lot more from as we watch this play again. Fisk getting sawed off on a slider inside. But Campaneris, to me, Curt, postseason play has been one of the real money ball players. They're all money players, but he has really excelled defensively in that series against the Mets. He's gotten big hits.
You know,
real
that
money man.
This fella here that day on June 18th, and I told you the 10 RBIs, a rookie record. He set all kinds of records. The triple he hit missed being a 4th home run of the game by about a foot. 2nd in the league in batting to Rod Carew. Holtzman decks him. Now the Red Sox fans let out a boo.
The tendency against a pitcher like Holtzman, because he keeps the ball away so well, is to lean in a little bit, and that is a tough one to get out of the way of.
He's walked only one man. Except for the errors, he and Tiant would be in a scoreless duel right now.
I've had very many balls hit hard off him, about 3 of them that I can count.
His manager thought that he should have 22, 23 wins this year. Lost some tough games. He drew the opening assignment because he's been the best pitcher, according to Doc. The 1-0 pitch. That's a strike, 1-1. Ken Holtzman nearly had his 3rd no-hitter. On June 8th this year, he had 2 out in the 9th inning. And Bill North couldn't handle a fly ball in the outfield and dropped in for a hit, or else he would have had a no-hitter again. He had no-hitters in 69 and 71. Red Sox ahead 2-0, last of the 6th inning. That one stroked the 3rd, short hop, Vandals up, makes the play, and that's it. Petrocelli grounds out hard, 3rd to 1st. At the end of 6 innings at Fenway, 2-0 Boston.
One of these batteries looks like no battery you've ever seen. It's a revolutionary development from JCPenney. There are no filler caps. You'll never have to add water. It's the most powerful battery ever built for a passenger car. That's why it's fully warranted for as long as you own your car. If it fails, return it. We'll replace it free. Only at JCPenney Auto Centers or catalog desks. It's the last battery your car will ever need.
Hi, I'm Connie Stevens. I don't know much about hardware, but I sure know a guy who does. Your helpful Ace hardware man. He knows hardware, and that's not all. He's got thousands of other things at great prices. And his store is right in the neighborhood, so you avoid that shopping center traffic. You really don't have to know hardware, you just have to know him. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware man.
It's sports broadcasting at its best. NFL football and NBC's Grandstand. Television's most talked about new concept in sports coverage. News, scores, features, events, you name it. Grandstand's got it. NBC Sports, #1 in major sports events all year round.
Coming up next, the second half of the doubleheader, the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates, game 1 of their National League Championship Series. We'll switch from Fenway Park, Boston, to Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati.
Bando doing what third basemen are required to do as we see the replay, getting in front of the ball, knocking it down to get Rico Petrocelli to end the Boston half of the 6th. He has a strong, very accurate throwing arm. Now we're in the 7th, and the Oakland A's will send up the heart of their batting order to face Luis Tiant, riding a one-hit shutout at this point. Jackson, Tennis, and Rudy. Jackson has flied to center field twice. Tiant has gotten him with hard fastballs up. He changes up, and it's drilled for a base hit up the middle. Fred Lynn, the ball bounces away. Jackson will try for second base. He'll go in standing up. Hit hard, and the ball took a little bit of an erratic hop off the shoulder of Freddie Lynn.
Watch this changeup now that Jackson's going to hit. He was waiting for that slow ball. Here it is, a floater, bang, right on it. And Lynn does something he does rarely, commits an error, and watch him hang his head after he gets rid of the ball because he's disgusted with himself.
He's been scored a hit and an error. Charge to Freddie Lynn. Gene Tennis now, who struck out and flied to center field up. Boston leads 2-0. We're in the 7th. Blazing fastball, one of the fastest pitches that Tiant has thrown today. He's had a good one today, Curt.
One of the best.
Red Sox bullpen goes into action.
They have Drago and Jim Burton out there. Left-hander and right-hander.
A ball and a strike to Gene Tennis. Drago the right-hander, Burton the left-hander. Just starting to loosen up very slowly in case Tiant gets into trouble. Remember, he's had that lower back problem on and off during the season. It starts stiffening up, they'll go to the pen. This set up outside on Tennis. 2 balls, 1 strike. Johnny Pesky, old needle nose.
He coached you when you played at Denver, you and Bobby Richardson.
Right. Ralph Houck was the manager. He taught us both a lot.
Ted Williams tried to get him to go with him when Ted managed Washington as a coach. Offered him a fantastic price. Johnny turned it down. He'd already signed a radio broadcasting contract there.
Tiant now goes 3 balls and 1 strike on Gene Tennis with Reggie Jackson down on second base. No outs. Red Sox lead 2-0. Louis has struck out 6. He struck out 5 in the first 3 innings. Since then, he's gone a lot more to off-speed stuff to upset the hitter's timing. Louis apparently doesn't like signs being flashed by Fisk. The man on second base, they're probably switching around. The signs aren't stolen by Jackson. He just threw the fastball right by Tennis again, and he was looking for it with the count 3-1. Reggie Jackson, who led off with a single, went to second on Fred Lynn's error. Mr. Tom Yawkey sitting in his box, along with Haywood Sullivan.
He knows as much baseball as any manager. A very knowledgeable, technical baseball man, Tom Yawkey.
3-2 pitch from Luis Tiant. Fouled off, could have been ball 4.
I bet. All right, let's take a full look at Mr. Tiant. All the little drops of the glove, the timing, the head moves, the bobs, and the way he comes. He's hard to get a lead on.
If there is a trick to be used by pitchers, Luis Tiant knows it and has used it, I'll guarantee you. 3-2 once again. Popped up in the infield. Doyle in short right field. Watch out, Evans coming over. He takes it away from Doyle. 1 out.
Well, they had everything happen there. Look at Evans. He nearly lost his cap. He's loose. Big smile on his face. Huh?
It's interesting as we were looking at that replay a while ago with Tiant coming down to the stretch position. I asked Dick Butler, who is head of the umpires for the American League, is it or isn't it a balk? He said, no, as long as he doesn't come to a stop and then start up again. He said it's a natural part of his delivery. He has been doing it since he came up in the baseball. It is not a ball.
If and if's the big word, if the Red Sox would win this and play in the World Series, what would National League umpires do with him?
Interesting to see what their interpretation of that will be. And you got to wonder if Tiant does it so well and can deceive base runners and hitters, upset their timing, why more pitchers don't try it. Joe Rudy hits this one to right field. Evans will battle the sun. Ball slicing away. He's got it. Jackson's going to tag up and try for third. A good, long, strong throw. Not in time to get Jackson. Evans showing off his arm a little bit.
If Tennis could have moved him on, the A's would have had their first run. I think Tennis might have been trying to, but he popped the ball up to right. It was important to try to get Jackson over there to third with one out, but they couldn't do it. Watch him get rid of this, and watch the arm now. Body behind it, great throw. It's cut off by Burleson. He knew it was too late, but that throw had something on it.
Jim Rice, that Curt mentioned earlier, not in the outfield. He started as a designated hitter. He injured that hand, but when he gets back in the lineup in left field, they've got three pretty good young outfielders going to be around for a long time. They all seem to be able to hit. They play the outfield well. Billy Williams, he's walked and fouled out. 2 outs, Jackson on third base. Tiant pulls the string, but he misses.
The loneliest man today has been the third base coach. Tiant thought that was a strike. Bobby Winkles finally's got a friend over at third. Winkles has the first A's base runner to third base today in a person of Reggie Jackson. That's how effective Tiant's been.
Rarely do you see Tiant argue with an umpire, but he was very upset with Denkinger, as was Fisk. Fisk turned on the umpire. You think he's missed a few pitches. Got Louis in the hole as he goes 2 balls, no strikes.
Big man for the Red Sox in this series right here, 23.
Drill to left center field. Yastrzemski back to the warning track. Nice money catch by Carl Yastrzemski, who plays left field as if he'd never left it to go to first base.
Well, he played left field here for 14 years, and one of the best that ever played this position in the American League. He knows just when to play a ball off the wall, turn his back, or when to go for it. And he gets a hand as he comes in. So the score at the end of 6 1/2 is 2-0 Boston.
You know, I'm enjoying my retirement more than ever. You want to know why? Well, my savings and loan is offering a brand new service. I went in and signed a simple application. It means that from now on, my monthly Social Security checks will be mailed directly to my savings account. This new service is quick, safe, and a lot easier for me. And I sure like that high interest rate. Why not stop in at your savings and loan and sign up?
Grandpa, I got one!
Now Black & Decker has come along with a handyman's helper that's mighty strong. It's small and light, but it pulls its weight. It's the super incredible workmate. Yeah, it's more than a bench and more than a vise. It's got both things working, and that's kind of nice. You can pound on it, a saw on it, a plane of door on it, and a whole lot more. Yeah, when you're alone and there's work to do, the workmate will help you see it through.
Here's a good shot from our center field camera of Carl Yastrzemski's catch. Not much room here. He draws a beat all the way, makes the grab. Look at him. He knows it just came down with about a foot to spare for the third out. That was close.
The A's that inning off Luis Tiant began to hit the ball a little bit harder. Louis maybe getting the ball up a little bit in the strike zone. Now we go to the last of the 7th. Evans, Cooper, and Burleson to face Kenny Holtzman, who has pitched a strong game. 1 strike.
Only Kenny Holtzman has retired 13 of the last 14 batters. His teammates let him down in the first inning, bobbling 3 times. And giving the Red Sox their 2 runs.
Drilled in the left field corner. Could be extra bases. Washington off the concrete wall. Here comes the throw. Evans barreling for second base. He's got a double.
If this throw had been on the button, he might have had him. It was an erratic throw by Claudell Washington. Washington was shading him more over towards center field. Here's his throw. He has a great arm, but he's wide of the bag with it, you see.
The Red Sox have been very aggressive on the base paths. They forced a couple of mistakes in that first inning when they came up with their 2 runs. Don Zimmer, the third base coach, hustling the runners on. Now Evans takes a chance and makes it.
This man can hit the right field and move a runner over. He'll slap the ball. He can pull.
He might be bunting. Yes, he is. He bunts it past the pitcher. It could be trouble. Bando over. He's out at first base, and Teskey's going to have a big argument with first base umpire Lou DeMuro. Out comes Darrell Johnson.
What a peg by Bando. You can't throw a ball any harder than he did. Darrell Johnson's out, and he'll start quietly, and he may increase his tempo of the argument. That's his past history. But Bando really had something on that throw.
Bando had to hold his position right here, see if there was a play at third. He guns the ball. Let's look at the play.
That's close. That is close. I'd hate to have to call that one.
Cooper gets a sacrifice. He does his job getting Evans into third base. And you can see how by replays, you cannot always tell. You cannot from that angle. We'll try and show you another angle.
Here's another angle of the play now. I get this in before the Burleson's up here. There's a throw, and watch it, and it is, well, I don't know.
A little bit of fuzziness did not allow us to be able to tell for sure. Oakland now has got the infield in. Burleson up. Here it is again. I'm going to cop out. I can't tell. Holtzman pitching from the stretch to Rick Burleson. 1 ball, no strikes. 2-0. They have shaded around to right center field for Rick Burleson. Alvin Dark, the A's manager.
It would surely be easy for an umpire to get to call these in slow motion after it was over, wouldn't it?
Drill, base hit. Will score, making it 3-0. Washington chasing the ball down to the corner. It's in the doorway, a tricky little spot, as there are many in this ballpark. So Boston takes the lead 3-0, and Kenny Holtzman has just allowed his first earned run in the last 24 innings in championship series.
Well, there's the rooster, the little indispensable battler, sticking in his big hits, making the big plays when it counts.
Alvin Dark now, he's already calling for a right-hander. Look at it again. Luciano saying fair ball. The infield in. It was not hit that hard. Had the infield been back, Bando might have had a shot.
There's the door. Well, I've seen that 1,000 times. Everything can happen in this ballpark. It's like going to an intimate little nightclub. It's hard to get tickets, and once you get in, you will really enjoy yourself here.
Dark had 2 right-handers up. He's called for one of the right-handers. We're trying to get the number for you, as Holtzman will leave the game. Well, you get a little of this, a little of that in this ballpark. All the little angles. You look at it from up above, it looks like a little crossword puzzle with a couple of pieces missing.
That's inside the green door. Bounding around and out. In that corner, I've seen some tricky things happen. Also, when a ground ball goes by third, it'll hit those stands there, angling out, and the shortstop has to go out and play the ball.
Now the man coming in, one of the big 3, the Oakland A's bullpen, Jim Todd.
Yeah, he did a great job for him this year. Jim Todd pitched 58 games, won 8, lost 3, had 12 saves, and an excellent earned run average at 2.29. We're going to pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WRGB, Channel 6, Schenectady.
This is Curt Gowdy and Tony Kubek, and right after this game, will switch to Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati. Joe Garagiola and Maury Wills standing by to bring you Game 1 of the National League Championships between the Pirates and the Reds. And right now, the Red Sox are leading 3-0. They scored 2 runs in the first inning on 3 Oakland errors. They've earned them here in the 7th. A double by Evans. He was sacrificed to third by Cooper, and the Rooster, Burleson, signaled him home. Went on down to second, got a double actually out of it. So now Jim Todd's on, Tony.
Jim Todd with a good sinking fastball, a good slider. And you might see some of the Red Sox hitters stepping out, asking for the home plate umpire to look at the ball. Todd has been accused of doctoring the baseball twice this season. Umpires have taken the pitch away from him, warned him for throwing an illegal pitch. The rule says, if one warning, next time you're automatically ejected if the umpire feels you are doctoring the baseball. Juan Beniquez hit the ball hard twice. He has doubled and lined out and also popped up. 1 strike. We're in the last of the 7th. Red Sox lead 3-0. Nice block by Gene Tennis. 1-1. Wes Stock, the pitching coach of the A's, likes to have all of his pitchers pitch outside, hit the outside corner. A base hit up the middle. Burleson will probably score. North will throw the ball into second base. The Red Sox lead 4-0.
That's 3 times that Beniquez has hit the ball hard today. Lined out to left in the first, double in the second, and a single here in the 7th.
Here comes Alvin Dark, and he said it before, I'll use 6 pitchers in the first game if I have to. He's already made the motion down to the bullpen, and it looked like he called for a left-hander this time. Paul Lindblad will come on to face Denny Doyle, the left-handed hitter. Charlie Finley next to the Oakland A's dugout with his family and friends. So Todd with just a few pitches out of the ball game. I'm going to ask Alan Roth to look up what that Oakland bullpen has done. Those 3 big pitchers, Lindblad and Fingers and Todd, as we look at Mr. Tom Yawkey, he never shows much emotion. Along with Haywood Sullivan.
But he has it inside him. He's one of the best fans of the game, and so is Charlie Finley, who is a semi-pro player in Gary, Indiana. Both have loved baseball since Tom Yawkey played at Yale.
All right, Curt, we understand that Joe Garagiola and Maury Wills are standing by in Cincinnati waiting for the second ball game, the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game. Joe, what's happening over there?
Well, Tony, here we've got a perfect day for baseball. Right now, the Pittsburgh Pirates are taking batting practice. Willie Stargell has put on a pretty good show. The Cincinnati Reds put on a big, explosive show here. Johnny Bench and Tony Perez especially tearing out of row seats. And the pitchers will be, as stated, Gullett. Bench says that Gullett feels extra strong, may have some control problems, and it'll be Jerry Royce for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Everybody around here is talking that the key situation, the key man is Joe Morgan. That's the way the tempo of the game is going to be set. If Morgan gets on, steals the base, then Cincinnati will be up. If Morgan gets on and gets picked off or thrown out trying to steal, then the momentum will switch to Pittsburgh. All kinds of talk, but as the great Joe McCarthy used to say it, you can do a lot on paper, but you got to play this game on a field. And that's the way it looks here, Tony and Curt.
All right, Joe, our thanks to you. Right here, Paul Lindblad has come on. The Red Sox lead 4-0. We're in the last of the 7th, 1 out.
What a record this fella had. He won 9 and lost 1 this year. Pitched in 68 games, had 7 saves, an earned run average of 2.72.
Beniquez is down on first base. Doyle, a good hit and run man. Beniquez can fly. He looked like he was going, but Lindblad gave him a good move. One strike. Raleigh Fingers led the American League in appearances in games in 1975. 1970 was 75. Lindblad was second with 68, and then Rich Gossage. There goes Benitez. Campanera's covering. Here comes the throw in the dirt. Benitez on the stolen base. The Red Sox have been turned loose.
If we're looking right now from our camera tucked in the scoreboard. We're looking from second toward first. You get a perfect shot. Benitez had this one all the way. He's in there. The throw was in the dirt by Tennis. Red Sox are normally not a running ball club. And that's the first stolen base of the playoff series.
2 strikes the count on Denny Doyle. Fouls this one off to the left side. That shot from the scoreboard in left center field, you saw exactly what a shortstop or second baseman see coming at you. The person of Juan Benitez that time.
Doyle is thrilled. He never played with a winning ball.
There goes Benitez again. Bounces away. He might score. Here he comes. Zimmers waving him home. And he will be sent back to third base as the ball pops into the stands. The Red Sox would have had another run, but the ground rule says bounces into the stands. He'll be sent back.
Red Sox are playing very aggressive baseball today. They've been daring on the bases. Zimmer's been waving him on. They've been aggressive at the plate. They come out here charged up.
Juan Benitez with a second stolen base. Now the A's infield will be forced to move it again with 1 out. 2 strikes on Doyle.
Benitez has had 2 hits, 2 stolen bases, and an RBI today.
Lindblad, the full windup. Little pop-up. North will have it. Benitez, is he coming? He's out of the way. And the ball dropped by Billy North.
These are the world champions.
He will be charged with an error as the Red Sox will score their 5th run, and Doyle is on first base.
He was thinking about throwing the ball before catching it. 4 errors charged against the world champs who in postseason and World Series competition have made very few mistakes. But today, they have played. Charlie Finley right now shows you just about the mood of the A's. Here's our center field camera. So he was thinking about throwing the ball before he caught it. He took his eyes off of it. I can't believe they made 4 errors in 1 game.
Carl Yastrzemski with 1 out, 1 ball, no strikes. Doyle on first. The Red Sox lead 5-0. Shoddy play.
What a game he's played at Benitez.
Shoddy play so far by the world champion Oakland A's. 1 ball, 1 strike on Yaz.
You know, even the A's said that if we beat Tiant the first game, we could be home free, but if we don't, we're going to have a real tough time beating this club. They have great respect for the young Boston team.
It's interesting that Zimmer, once again on a short fly ball to center field, was sending Juan Benitez. He was sending him all the way. They were trying to force mistakes, something the A's were expected to do. Yaz goes after an off-speed pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The A's looking for the double play. Garner at second base, shortened up considerably. Way inside. The count will go to 3-2 on Carl Yastrzemski. Yaz a single and scored a run. Grounded out and struck out. He's followed by Carlton Fisk. There goes the runner. Yaz pops this one back to home plate. Tennis in pursuit, but it's out of play.
One note while we have a pause. We paid a tribute to Casey Stengel, Larry McPhail earlier, but also Mrs. Payson, the owner of the New York Mets. Mrs. Joan Payson, I think died this morning.
Casey Stengel, Larry McPhail, and Mrs. Joan Payson. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Yastrzemski. There goes the runner. Popped up in the infield. Rudy has it for the second out. Boston with 5 runs, just 6 hits, 1 error. Oakland, no runs, 2 hits. They have committed 4 errors.
3 of the 5 Red Sox runs have been unearned today.
Oakland, during the course of this past season, with 4 2-error games. They had another one like this in Boston early in May, one at Texas in August. They can be erratic.
But not
Most
usually
of the time,
not
sensational.
in pressure games, though.
1 ball.
That's when they seem to be at their best, Tony, that we've observed them the last 3 years. That when the pressure is the greatest is when they play the best. But not today.
They like the money. Lindblad goes 2-0 on Carlton Fisk. Fisk scored back in the first inning when he chopped the ball down to Sal Bando. Bando backed up. Fisk was on with an error, and another error by Claudell Washington. Lindblad pulled the string. 2 balls, 1 strike. Denny Doyle down on first base. They've swung around playing Carlton Fisk as a pull hitter. 2-2. The A's bullpen continues to be active. A couple of right-handers. Stan Bonson. And let's see. Base hit by Fisk up the middle. Doyle's going to try for third base. North will get the ball back into second.
Watch Denny Doyle on this. Now he sees the hit go through the middle. He'll start to slow down. He took a look, and there he goes. That's Casey Stengel used to talk about a base runner. He said, why do so many fellas have to watch their feet when they run on the bases? A good runner never looks down at his feet. He's watching the ball. That's smoothness on the baseline.
Another thing Casey Stengel told a lot of us when we were with the Yankees, if the ball's hit to a fielder's glove side, North's left hand, he's got to turn all the way around to make the throw. It gives you a couple of extra steps. Fred Lynn with men on first and third and 2 outs.
This is where the kid's good with men on. I think he'll vote a rookie the most valuable player of the year and the rookie of the year at the same time.
Be an upset if they didn't. Bonson and Bosman continue to throw for the Oakland A's. Lynn hits this one to left. It could be trouble. Washington back to the warning track. No, it's off the wall. Boston has their 6th run. Here comes Fisk. The relay by Campaneris. He is safe at home.
Washington misplayed that ball. That ball should have been caught. And once again, this left field wall is very tricky. We get the rerun, you'll see where the ball lands. It was catchable. When it started off, the wind held it up. Now see, he thinks it's going to get high off the wall. Look where the ball hits, right at the base of the wall. Very tricky to play out there.
Out pops Alvin Dark once again. He's used 3 pitchers. Here comes the relay throw on the replay from Washington to Campaneris. In easily. The Red Sox lead 7-0. Dark and Ron Luciano, the third base umpire.
I've seen that happen so many times there. The judgment is, do you put your back against the wall and try to catch the ball, or do you judge that the ball is going to be over your head and you turn to play the carom?
Curt, it's interesting, and you can tell more about this park because you spent so much time up here. But the prevailing winds ordinarily in this spot during the middle of the summer are out.
Out.
Spring and fall,
Home plate
they usually
out.
come in.
They're sweeping from third to first now. And that ball was held up. I imagine that Washington thought that ball would hit halfway off the wall. But that wind held it up. Washington's own drive in the third inning was held up. About 3 fly balls that usually are off the wall here have been held up today by that crosswind from third to first. That ball just landed right at the base of the wall. He'd have stayed with it, he'd have caught it.
Fred Lynn, 47 doubles, led the league, and that wall had a little bit to do with it, I'm sure. He can pop him to left center field and left field.
Think he might get a boost in salary from his rookie year to his sophomore year?
I don't think he's going to have to go to arbitration.
No.
With Petrocelli coming up, the Red Sox have battled around. They've scored 5 times in this 7th inning on 6 base hits. 3 doubles. And the new pitcher. Want to let you know that coming up next, Maury Wills and Joe Garagiola, and you see that ball game, the Pittsburgh Pirates versus the Cincinnati Reds. Gullett versus Royce. And Danny Murtaugh in his pre-championship series plans has scheduled 3 left-handers. Rooker will follow, and then Candelaria, the young left-hander, trying to negate some of that base-stealing speed of Cincinnati.
There's 4 pitchers this inning. They're going to have to get a new tank of gas for that bullpen car.
Dick Bosman, who told me yesterday at the workout that he might be the starting pitcher in the 3rd ball game back at Oakland. But that'll tell you what is happening with Mr. Finley and Dart. A lot of tentative plans in their pitching
There's
rotation.
an interesting shot in left field. Washington North. North dropped the ball this inning, and Washington let one drop behind him. And they're both saying, hey, this fence is a monstrosity out here, the sun and the whole thing.
You can see by their shadows how that sun is going directly in their eyes right now.
Tomorrow, a baseball, football doubleheader plus grandstand before, during, and after all the NBC action. You'll see one of 5 NFL regional games, followed at 4 p.m. Eastern Time by the second games of both the National League and American League. Jack Bust will be your host on grandstand. And Rod Carew will join Jack on grandstand tomorrow. Jack hosting the 4-time in a row American League batting champion.
Rico Petrocelli, the 9th hitter to come to the plate this inning for the Red Sox, facing Dick Bosman. With Lynn down on second base, there are 2 outs. Boston leads 7-0. Bosman, since coming over from Cleveland, has done a great job. He's been 11 wins and 4 losses. 11-6 on the year. He's had 21 starts. Ball and a strike on Rico Petrocelli. It's all started this 7th inning when Evans doubled in the left field corner. Cooper sacrificed. Burleson doubled. Benitez single. Doyle single. An error by North in center field. Yaz popped up. Fisk singled. Lynn doubled. Fred Lynn down on second base. 2 balls, 1 strike to count on Rico Petrocelli. The Oakland A's with 4 costly errors in this ball game. Rico drills it right at Campaneris. He hit it hard off Bosman. But the Boston Red Sox bat around in the last of the 7th. They lead 7-0 over the Oakland A's.
What you doing, Dad?
Putting Xerox antifreeze in.
Then what happens?
The way Xerox protects, most likely nothing.
Nothing?
That's right. No freeze-ups, no summer boilovers, no rust that'll clog things up.
I get it, Dad.
Yeah?
Sure, when nothing bad happens to our radiator, that's good.
Smart guy.
Xerox.
It's very good at stopping what's very bad for your radiator.
Would you look at this place? The last thing I need to think about is how and when a laxative is going to work.
Phillips works and it doesn't interfere with your day.
Right. It doesn't cramp your style.
Things are rough all over. Does your laxative have to be rough, too?
Phillips formula works a special gentle way and usually without cramps.
Yeah, you could say it doesn't cramp my style.
Thank heavens for Phillips.
Phillips milk of magnesia. Regular, chocolate, or mint. Phillips works and...
It doesn't cramp your style.
We pause now for station identification.
Disney, followed by the family holdback. 2 hours of family entertainment, Sunday.
Oh, my. Nice birdie.
It's nice to have someone worry about your good health. That's what we've been doing at Blue Cross and Blue Shield for 30 years. That's why we say America's #1 Get Well card gets even better.
WRGB, Channel 6, Schenectady.
Charlie Finley and Alvin Dark not too happy at this moment as their team leads is down 7-0. And we've got to guess the man in the middle, George C. Scott, who tied for the home run lead in the American League. He's the RBR champion. Scotty, you had one heck of a year for Milwaukee.
Thank you very much, Tony.
He's the tater man. He hit the taters here when he started with the Red Sox, and he kept going in Milwaukee. I want to ask him one question. Tiant working on a shutout. Who do you like to win this playoff series, George? I know Reggie Jackson's your buddy, but who do you like?
I like the Boston Red Sox.
Why?
Well, I think overall they have a better balanced ball club. I think that they got a better bench and also a little better defense.
All right, George, great year for you, and maybe Milwaukee will be in there shortly.
Thank you very much, Curt.
George
Thank
Scott.
You,
George really finished strong. That ball is dropped, and a high throw. Campaneris is on. Rick Burleson didn't handle it cleanly, and he's being charged with an error. We have now had 6 errors in this game. 4 by the A's and 2 by the Red Sox. Cincinnati out at Riverfront Stadium keeping their fans who are there early informed of what's happening here. I see Bob Hausum just signed a new 5-year contract with Cincinnati. Magazine had a big story on the Reds recently, town, the whole organization, and Hausum got about 4 lines. He's one of the most brilliant men I've ever met in sports. What a job he's done there.
Got a man coming down from the A's bullpen. Apparently Alvin Dark is going to... There's Darrell Johnson, Ed Popowski. Looks like Jim Holt coming in, a left-handed hitter who will bat for Garner. Ed Popowski. Play for the House of Davids.
Yeah, 19 years old, the only man without a beard. He couldn't grow a beard. In each of the last 2 years, Oakland lost the first game of the championship series. Then they won the series. Now, their fans will remember that. I imagine the Red Sox fans will too. Jim Holt is going to come up to hit for Phil Garner. With Campaneris on first in the 8th inning, and the Red Sox ahead 7-0. Red Sox bullpen is quiet. Luis Tiant with a commanding lead. And the Red Sox fans, of course, rooting for his shutout win if he can do it. The A's may have something to say about that. After Holt, we'll go to the top of the order and pick up Billy North.
Tiant this season led the Red Sox club in complete games with 18. He was followed by Bill Lee and Rick Wise. He has finished just about half of his ball games. He had 35 starts. Didn't striking out as many as he did the first 3 innings. But more to the off-speed stuff, more to control than power.
Jim Holt batting. Campaneris at first. You know, we've commented many times that one of the changes in baseball, runners are going now and trying to steal when their teams are behind. But in this ballpark, I think what the A's need are some base runners now. And there he can start bluffs the dash. He doesn't go. It was quite a fake. But what they need to do is play it a little bit safe, get some base runners, and hope for the long ball. Get 3 or 4 runs in here.
All Campaneris was trying to do on the last one with the decoy is to get an infielder out of position. He had Burleson breaking, leaving a hole at short.
That's a strike to him, a fastball. Tiant is still throwing with velocity. We've had 2 famous Victory cigars in this city.
Yours and who's else?
No, Red Auerbach's. And if Tiant wins, he'll be in there with a big cigar in the Red Sox locker room, puffing after the game. Haven't ever won anything. 2-2 count to Jim Holt.
Curt, I mentioned his name before, but he's a young writer here in town called Pete Gammons, and he said that he thinks that Tiant is the most beloved athlete ever to play in this city. And I said, wait a second, Johnny Havlicek, Bobby Orr. I said, well, the fans have been up and down with him at times. He said, but Tiant never gets booed. He can get bombed. He said the fans just stick with him. He's got a great personality.
Foul ball. Ted Williams was booed, but he was also beloved. Well, they do. They really do dig Tiant. Well, he's got such a great story. I mean, here's a man that suddenly became successful in his 30s. Bad arm, went back to the minors, and comes back and does it. The tenaciousness, the spirit, and the flair. There's a drive to left center. That's in the gap, going all the way to the wall. Campaneris is being held up. They play it safe in the second. Holt with a pinch hit double to left center. And now there's some stirring around in the Red Sox bullpen.
Yep, there goes a man down to the telephone. Darrell Johnson has sent the word down that thinks Tiant may be tiring. We're going to have a pinch runner for the Oakland A's. That is Drago, the right-hander, getting up for Boston. And that pinch runner going down to second base. There's Popowski. He's operating the phone.
Martinez has gone in a run for Holt.
Number 32, Ted Martinez. Running for Holt.
Bill North has lined to center, walked, and flied to center. The A's have runners on second and third, nobody out. They're trailing 7-0 in the 8th inning.
Dick Drago has now been joined by Burton. Jim Burton, the left-hander in the Boston pen.
A ball to Billy North. Claudell Washington is on deck. A lot of wild things can happen in this park. I've seen 8 and 9 run leads wiped out, especially if you start walking men. Usually it happens when the wind is blowing out toward the wall. 2 of the most famous games ever played here. That on-deck batter is Washington. 48. With Lemon and Feller pitching. The Indians were leading, I think, by 9 runs in one game, 10 in another, and the Red Sox rallied to beat them in both games.
Who got the key hit?
I think Billy Goodman.
I thought it'd probably be Ted Williams.
I think Billy Goodman got a key hit. Bobby Dorr. They all hit, I guess. I was doing the Texas League games then. I wouldn't know.
They have always had hitters in this ballpark. Right. They've stocked their team with power hitters to take advantage of that wall. And sometimes, I think, Curt, they've lost sight of some of the little things that win ball games. That speed on the bases, speed defensively. This year, they have more of that.
Strike to North, 3-2. This year, they have played their best ball on the road in years. They have left-handed hitters in the lineup. They have a better defensive team. It's an all-around ball club instead of a bunch of right-handed sluggers. They won 48 and lost 31 on the road this year.
Whoops.
No pitch.
That's a butterfly, and it wasn't Tiant's knuckleball either that flew right in front of Billy North.
Pirates and the Reds will follow this game from Riverfront Stadium right here on NBC. We're in the 8th inning, 7-0. Red Sox and the A's are threatening. Runners on second and third, nobody out. A 3-2 pitch to North. Look out.
He still looks like he's got a pretty good fastball. He threw that in by North.
Smell that air today, boys. It's like wine, isn't it? Beautiful. Hit down and booted by Cooper. The throw's too late. Tiant was covering in the score. Is Campaneris. That's the A's first run. Over to third went Martinez. And that's an error charged on Yastrzemski. On Cooper. That's 7 errors in this game. 4 on Oakland and 3 on the Red Sox. This is an American League Championship game with 7 errors in it. Claudell Washington struck out. Fly to left, line to left. 0 for 3. 7-1 now, Boston. Runners on first and third. Nobody out. Two errors this inning by the Red Sox. Raleigh Fingers is starting to warm up now. A ball to Washington. Tiant's getting up high now. His club just got him 5 in the 7th. Right now they're helpful to him. He'd be sitting on a 2-1 ball game. Changeup drifts in there. 1 ball, 1 strike for Claudell Washington. The on-deck batter is Sal Bando. This is, there's Bando. This is the most errors ever in a championship series game. A one-team record, 5 by the Dodgers in '74. 2 balls and a strike to Claudell Washington.
Tiant now taking a little bit more time between pitches. There's Darrell Johnson. He'll face a tricky decision if Tiant loses this hitter. I'm sure the fans would like to see Tiant finish the ball game. And
gave him the slow one.
taking a lot more time between pitches, trying to get a little extra breathing room.
Washington is a good fastball hitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Claudell Washington. Runners lead away at first and third. Nearly had him struck out.
Curt, he's not a bad breaking ball off-speed hitter either.
He's not a bad hitter.
Being able to hit the ball the opposite way, the fastball the opposite way, as Washington does, it means he can wait a little bit longer and pull the off-speed pitch in the right field by going the opposite direction with the fastball.
Another foul by Claudell Washington. So our setup, the Red Sox ahead, 7-1. The Oakland A's have runners on first and third. Nobody out. They're batting here in the 8th inning. And Cincinnati and Pittsburgh will follow this game on NBC. 2-2 count. Just right off the fist.
That sun now getting worse for that right fielder, Evans in this case for Boston. Louis does not appear to be. There's right fielder Evans, and you can see that shadow almost directly away from home plate. Very bright, very few clouds in the sky. Tiant doesn't seem to be going through as many motions on the mound. I don't know if he stopped doing that after he gets tired. He's becoming more over the top than from the side.
He got him on the fastball. Seven strikeouts to Luis Tiant. 1 out. And the A's now have Bando up. He struck out twice and flying out, 0 for 3. Martinez is at third. Billy Norris at first, 1 down. Lynn just looked up in the sun, tested his sunglasses out there in center field. That's out of play. This is what the ball players call a high sky. Just a few fleecy clouds overhead. Light blue and a bright sun blazing here. Look at that sky.
The lower right-hand corner of your screen right then, you saw dead center field. That's a place where Jimmy Rice hit the ball out. What did they say? That ball went 450 to 500 feet.
He'll hit a few more out before he's done. Fouled away again.
Tiant, although he can give you big strikeout games, is high this year, Alan Roth tells us, is 12. He struck out 10 another performance. Struck out a lot the first 3 innings. Ordinarily, he's not much of a strikeout pitcher. He strikes out about 5 every 9 innings. I thought Mickey Lolich made an interesting observation about men going for strikeout records in modern-day baseball. He said, with the designated hitter, without pitching to the pitcher, you take out 2 punch-outs a game.
That's
sometimes
right.
3 and 4 if you got a really weak hitting pitcher.
Bando is struck out. That's as hard as he's throwing today.
He's coming over the top now most of the time, and he just blew the ball right by Sal Bando. We'll look at it again. Sal late, you can see that barrel of the bat trailing behind the fastball.
All right, here's Reggie Jackson. 8 strikeouts. Just 3 hits off Tiant. He's walked 2. The 2 walks came in the third. They made 2 errors behind him this inning, or he would be riding on a shutout. 7-1 Boston. Jackson's fly to center twice and singled up the middle. Darcy with a slow ball. Reggie thought it was high.
It's a pitch you can't look for, especially the way Tiant has been blazing the fastball to the last couple of hitters. You got to be geared thinking fastball up there now, the way he's throwing.
They've had 2 singles and a double off him. Strike 2. Fastball. Boy, is he taking the time between pitches now. They have the battle cry here, Louis, Louis. Ground ball to the right side, handled by Denny Doyle. And they're out of that one. 1 run. 1 hit, 2 errors, 2 left. 7.5, 7-1 Red Sox.
Fortunately for America, there are tremendous deposits of oil offshore under our continental shelf.
Unfortunately, finding this energy and getting it to you takes years. For example, in 1966, Exxon began exploring a section of the Gulf of Mexico. In 1970, we were able to buy rights to drill. In 71, we began drilling to see if there really was oil down there. There was. But we had to drill several more wells to be sure there was enough oil to justify building a production platform. In 72, we started constructing the platform. In 73, we drilled 4 production wells, and we laid an underwater pipeline to carry the oil to shore. And it wasn't until 1974 that the oil we started searching for back in 1966 finally reached your Exxon service station. Today, our people are busy looking for the oil you may be using in the 1980s.
It's baseball excitement at its best. The championship playoffs. Which 2 teams will battle their way into the World Series? Find out when NBC adds night games for the first time to baseball's championship playoffs. NBC Sports, #1 in major sports events all year round.
Coming up next, immediately following this ball game, the Pirates versus the Reds. And we've got a couple of changes now. At second base for the Oakland A's, Garner was pinch hit for by Holt. Teddy Martinez now playing second base. New pitcher, Glenn Abbott. Glenn Abbott now pitching.
He's only 6'6". Pitched in 30 games this year, 15 as a starter, 15 in relief. Won 5, lost 5 with an earned run average of 4.25.
Number 24.
Evans, who started the big 7th with a double when the Red Sox scored 5. Evans, Cooper, and Burleson for the Red Sox in the last of the 8th. Red Sox leading 7-1. Tiant behind his manager, Darrell Johnson.
You know, Curt, I don't think Darrell Johnson has gotten enough credit handling this pitching staff up here in Fenway. They had some problems, some injuries. Dick Pohl was out. He got hit in the face. Tiant with the back. Lee's had elbow problems. Named just a few of their problems. But he, all summer long, he's taking a lot of boos from the crowd here by leaving pitchers in too long. But it's something you have to do at Fenway at times, or you burn your pitching staff out in July.
Well, they broke on top in June, and they just stayed there the rest of the way. They beat off a challenge by a club that had the best record in baseball the last 2 months, the Baltimore Orioles. You have to give the Orioles credit. Boy, they just didn't give, but they started too late. They won 15 of their last 18 games.
No, Jimmy Rice, you can't hit. You can just look at the bats.
That must be frustrating for him. Chance as a rookie to be playing in a championship series and be injured the last week of the year and out of it after the year he had. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dwight Evans, who's doubled in 3 times. He has power to the right field area. 2-2.
The Red Sox have had the kind of year that you have to have if you're going to win a divisional title. Whenever somebody got hurt, somebody else came along and picked up the slack. Bob Heiss for a while, a name you don't hear too often, but he did a good job defensively. When Fisk was out, Montgomery came in and helped. Some of the pitchers took over when Tiant was hurt. Moret's done a good job for them. They've got that depth, that bench strength over the long haul that you have to have, because you're going to get your injuries.
Evans batting with a count of 2-2. It's a towering pop. Bando. Fair ball, he has it. 1 out for the Red Sox in the last of the 8th inning. And the Oakland fans looking ahead to the 9th. Your batters will be Tennis, Rudy, and Billy Williams.
Number 17.
Cecil Cooper struck out, single, and sacrifice. This fella, I believe, Tony's going to be a fine major league hitter.
He has worked long and hard defensively at first base. He's made an error today, but they have hit him ground ball after ground ball since spring training began, as they did to Jimmy Rice out in left field off that wall. He's a vastly improved defensive player. He's their first baseman of the future, obviously.
One and one count. One out, nobody on. The Red Sox ahead, 7-1. Stay tuned for the Pirates and the Reds from Riverfront Stadium. There's a long drive into right center. North going over and has it. 2 down. North made 2 excellent running catches now in right center. Rick Burleson has walked, bounced out, and doubled.
The Pirates outfield, Curt, can outrun their mistakes. If they misjudge a ball or lose a ball in the sun or wind, they can catch right back up to it.
Look where Reggie Jackson is playing him. Very shallow. Ground ball to Martinez at second. Sides out, 1, 2, 3. We're heading to the 9th inning, with the Red Sox leading by a score of 7-1.
Yo, kid, what's your name?
George Herman Ruth, sir. But my friends call me Babe.
Another Babe Ruth. Well, step up to the plate, Babe, and maybe swat out a few.
When you've got a well-known name, people expect a lot. We've got a beer named after the city that means beer. Old Milwaukee. It's a tough name to live up to. But Old Milwaukee beer tastes as great as its name.
You don't happen to know any kids named Garrick, do you?
Saw a shaver, or electric, that will do this for you. This is the Shave Master Groomer from Sunbeam. The shaver that gives you more than a shave. It adjusts to groom your beard, mustache, keeps you neat between haircuts, and gives you a clean, close shave with both holes and slots. Here, in Sunbeam's thinnest shaving head ever, get the Groomer, the Shave Master Groomer from Sunbeam.
When I broke the stolen base record at the age of 35, I did it by using my head as well as my feet. I don't have as much energy as I once did, and neither does America. And that's why we all have to conserve our energy. If you must drive, keep it under 55. Form carpools, too, and cut down on air conditioning in the summer. Conserve your energy for the long run. Don't be foolish.
Let's switch to Cincinnati and Joe Garagiola.
Okay, Curt, this is the situation. That's the Indiana University marching 100. You can see the shadows starting to creep in. It is a bright day here in Cincinnati, and we're waiting for the completion of your game for hours.
All right, Joe, we'll be switching to, well, we don't know how long. It's the 9th inning. We'll see what the A's do. The A's have tennis, Rudy, and Billy Williams coming up. Luis Tiant received a standing ovation when he ran from the Red Sox dugout to the mound to open the 9th inning. And that last preceding announcement you heard was furnished as a public service by Major League Baseball. Got to get him in. Pitches inside for ball 1. They're playing tennis as a pull hitter. He hasn't pulled the ball today, though. It's inside to him. Ball 2. He struck out. He's fly to center and fly to right. Now you're watching the man in the spotlight in Beantown, Luis Tiant. 2 ways, double vision of him. He's high for ball 3. His father and mother received a special permit from Fidel Castro to leave Cuba, come to Boston to watch him pitch in the latter part of the season. I forget how many years it had been since he'd seen him. I think since before 1960. And they're somewhere in the stands, I think, in back of home plate, watching their son pitch this opening game. He has just walked Gene Tennis. We have 2 men warming up in the Boston bullpen. They have been Burton and Drago. And that's who they still are. Left-hander Burton, right-hander Drago. Joe Rudy has struck out, single, and flying to right. 7-1 Boston in Game 1 for the American League Championship. Tomorrow, Vida Blue is scheduled to pitch. They could change. Reggie Cleveland will go for sure for the Red Sox. And there's a ball delivered by Luis Tiant. He doesn't like himself right now. What's the matter with me? Senor, what's the matter? Here's a great whip. One ball, no strikes. Tennis at first. He walked over 100 times during the regular season. That one is drilled out to Fred Lynn. He's there. And let's count Lynn's putouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 putouts for Fred Lynn in center field today. None of them difficult chances. I showed you how the right-handers are not getting around on Tiant and pulling that ball to left field. Alan Roth, our old reliable man, our statistician up here today, and the smiling, sometimes sulky Irishman, Jim O'Gorman, as the production stage manager. Surly is the better word. Tough. Billy Williams, walked, fouled out, flied out. Ball 1. He's happy today. I bought my jacket and doublet. And the cap. That makes it all well. Pitch is high for ball 2. I have to tell Jim that I bought the cap first, and they throw the jacket in. Tennis at first, 1 out. 7-1 Red Sox in the 9th. Gullett and Royce are warming up out in Cincinnati. Fastball again. 2 balls and a strike. Not a happy Elvin Dark. You always figure in these 3 out of 5 series, you got to at least split that, or you want to split the first 2 away from home. Bad pitch that Williams went for. This man would be happy if they won 2 here. He'd be sitting in high grass. Going out to Oakland. A play out there Tuesday night, or actually Tuesday evening in Oakland. And Tuesday night, Tony and I will move on and pick up the National League playoffs in Pittsburgh. Joe and Maury will be going to Oakland. Tiant has it, throws to second, over to first. No. Forced out at second. And they need 1 more out now, and the Red Sox have won the opening game. Tiant got a hand for his stop. Here's the runner coming down the line, Gene Tennis. That's Burleson taking the throw, and he's taken out of there with a shoulder bump. The runner was bowled over more than the man he was trying to take out. Now we're going to have a pitch runner. Hopkins is going in to run at first base for Billy Williams. The last hope for the A's, the defending world champs in this opening game of the American League Championship Series, is Campy Campaneris. He's gone hitless in 3 times. He has scored the only A's run in the 8th inning. 7 errors in the game have been a highlight. You want to call it a highlight. But they've been the big story. Strike to Campaneris. Tommy Harper's come out on deck as a pinch hitter. You never know about salaries. Strike 2. They want to see Tiant finish with a strikeout here. And his boss, Tom Yawkey. Be interesting to see his reaction if he struck the last man of the game out. Look at him. Look at him look around his ballpark. Louie! Louie, they're yelling. Louis, they're on their feet. Louis. What ball fans here? Win or lose, they're out here year after year. The whole area of New England, this is their team. Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, Upper Connecticut, Rhode Island. All tucked away up here. Fouled away. And this is their man right now. Luis Tiant. 18-game winner. Louis, there they go again. Hear him? Louis. 1 ball, 2 strikes. High with it. 2-2. Campanera is taking him down to the wire. 2 down. Hopkins at first. 7-1 Red Sox. Popped up. This will be the ball game. Petroselli has it. Luis Tiant. Tiant's the man. As the Red Sox have defeated the World Champion Oakland A. 7 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for the Red Sox. 1 run, 3 hits, 4 errors for the Oakland A. Tiant being mobbed by his teammates. Tom Yawkey saying something to Haywood Sullivan. We'll be back here with Tony Kubek right after this message.